Do it.
I don't trust the machines. So it says they're going live, and it says we're live. That was pretty quick.
It did.
I know. So
I hope
supposedly we're here.
I hope that's a
good sign.
good omen.
Cross your fingers. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. We are here for a live stream on a Friday night. Our time zone, at least. I don't know where you are or when you're actually watching this, so I don't know what time it is for you. I don't know you. It feels like a very freaking long time since we've done this. We will complain about that later. But we are here for our hangout, virtual Munch, starting at 10 p.m. our time, so in 30 minutes from the start time, Q&A. And before we do anything, I want to say hello to everybody. Hi, Little Miss. Hi, Mel. Hi, Mally. Hi, Eva. Hi, Kim. Hi, Alexis. Hi, Tayshu. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hi, Silent Winged. I have missed all of y'all so much. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
Go ahead. We're technically here a couple minutes early because of course we are.
Do you know, and you know, for folks who don't know.
Not you, the other one.
I know. I know. You know, because of the way our screen is situated, I have my iPad here so I can watch the live chat. So when I loaded the video, I got an ad for an air conditioning company.
Okay, so the conspiracy theory that your devices are listening to you has been debunked, but that doesn't mean they don't actually still know what's going on, and that one just... That one hurt.
Hit a little close to home, yeah.
Like, no, I don't... But see, it also shows how it's not that bright, because if the devices were really paying attention, they'd know we already have the AC system, which we will talk about shortly. Hi, C. Stevens. Hi, Maddie. Hi, Sarah. Hello, hello. Alexis, did I already say hi to you? Yeah, I did, but just in case, hi. So, can't keep up sometimes. I'm like, did I say hi to somebody? I know.
Happy to have y'all here.
Your shirt is already getting attention.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me he was wearing... How old is this shirt, first of all, may I ask? Is it as old as I am? Because I feel like it might be as
Not
old
quite
as
that old, no.
Is it an 80s shirt or a 90s shirt?
It's Bloom County.
I know.
Okay.
Not that young. I'm definitely not that young. I know who Bloom County is. What Bloom County is?
Late 80s? 90s, maybe? I don't remember.
I hope for your saying that shirt is from the 90s. There's actually print on the bottom from the comic. Maybe that will tell us. 1985.
Okay.
I was 6.
Mid-80s.
I'm very glad that it's not disintegrating on your body. I mean, it's a bit see-through. I feel like we could read a book through it.
Yeah, it's well worn. This has been a favorite shirt of mine through the years. I'm not going to deny that. At the time, I was big fan of Bloom County.
Oh yeah, I think you still have a couple of books.
I have several of his books. Yeah, several of his books. I found out there was a time there a couple years back he did resurrect the comics slightly on Facebook, and I did jump in and follow along,
of course,
for a while. But I loved his acerbic humor and his take on things both societally and, you know, politically and things like that.
And you love it so much that I'm trying to do the math in my head. 36 years later, 37, you're like, let me pull the shirt out. Let me wear the shirt.
Some things endure.
Some things, I don't know if
I have several.
I don't know if the cotton of that shirt's going to be one of them, but
yeah, I know. I have several of shirts. Mr. Spot, I still have concert shirts from the 70s.
When I was vaguely teaching myself how to make quilts, part of the conversation was that when he felt comfortable with letting me do it, and not before, that I might turn his old concert shirts into a quilt. We're not at that point yet.
No.
But it's like still on the horizon. It's still,
Yeah.
maybe we shall see.
It's a definite possibility.
And then you'd have your own blanket in the bed.
True. True.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I saw some other folks show up, and I want to say hi because we have not been able to stream for like 2 weeks.
2 weeks now, yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Hi, Andre. Hi, Jerica. Hi, Love Not Hate. I'm going down the list. Hi, Sir Schmoopsy Pants. Hi, Susan. Hi, Cheap Kiani. Hi, Enjoying the View. Hello. So... Hi. Oh, I hope I say this right, but please correct me. Is it Arcelia? Hello, by the way, but please tell me how to say your name, because that's beautiful. Hi, Missy. Okay. So, no, Mr. Spock, I would not steal the blanket. I get hot. I get so hot. He's not allowed to touch me when I get hot. He can have all the fucking blankets. I need a thin sheet because apparently I cannot sleep if something's not touching me. But no actual blanket. No, thank you. So what's going on?
Hi, Anissa from Leesburg. Does that make you a neighbor? Kinda,
yeah. Leesburg's not that far away.
That's true, yeah.
No, I remember as a kid, that was a big thing. My grandparents lived in, and you might recognize the name of it, you might not, it's okay, it's a teeny tiny little place, Umatilla, and to go to the big city was to go to Leesburg.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it to the east of where we live now? Basically, between here and Orlando, there are a lot of small towns. They might be bigger now, that I'm very well aware of because I had family that lived all in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So hi, Jacob. Hi, Rara. Oh, I hope you're feeling okay, Rara.
Yeah,
I know you've been sick.
Heard you had a rough day with the heat and all, so I know there's been a lot of that going around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a knock on wood kind of thing that we haven't gotten anything. That's pure dumb luck.
And yes, Mel, we've missed streaming, believe it or not.
So this stream is it's time travel. So depending on what you've heard or seen when, we will be repeating stories. So let's just go ahead and start with the one that we talked about in the last episode, 2 episodes ago, but that on YouTube you only might have heard about if all you do is follow us on YouTube. This morning when I finally uploaded that video, we got I think it was a community guidelines channel strike 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
For an unlisted live that only patrons could see. So it was not like it was openly available to everybody, which I have ranted about in the love bombing episode. Ranted. So we got the channel strike. We recorded just a podcast and made a video version, but we couldn't stream. And then this week we were supposed to stream, but we had our entire AC system in our home and all of the duct work in our house swapped out over 3 days.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. For people who only follow us on YouTube, you will get to hear that raw ranting in that bonus section in a video that will be uploaded next week. We are behind on that because we have not been streaming, and then the week after next, then we'll be back to streaming.
Yeah.
It's very confusing because I know some people have heard all of these stories already. Some people have not. And I know we're repeating ourselves.
And what hasn't made it any easier either is we never have been able to get your iMovie working.
Right.
So you've been behind on getting any videos uploaded at all.
Yes, which I found one recommended by the teenage child. So, okay. And I'm watching tutorials. And as a tutorial is telling me how to do something, I'm going to the video I'm working on and doing the thing. That's how today's video on love bombing finally got uploaded onto YouTube. Yeah. because I was like, I just need to trim the ends. I just need to like do a couple of things. How do I do this? So yeah, fun times. Fun times.
No, they very, very seldom use galvanized ductwork down here. It's all what they call flex duct. It's just like a flex.
It looks like aluminum foil.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it is, but that's what it looks like.
And even the junction boxes that they use, it's
Looks like a foam.
It's like a foam board that they use. So yeah, no, they do not use galvanized here.
Most of the time, you're supposed to replace your ductwork, every 10 to 15 years?
Yeah.
Very few people do that. Like, people with stupid money probably do that. The rest of us mere mortals, we wait until it's dying, and somebody goes, you really should replace this.
Yeah.
It was installed when the house was built, and that was 1984. So, it was...
The year before I
was 5 that year. So, yeah. So, for anybody who's new to this particular type of stream that we do, we hang out, we chit chat. There will be adult beverages. I was there. I swiped the card to purchase them, so I know there will be adult beverages. And at 10 o'clock our time, so from this moment I'm speaking 20 minutes or so from now, we will then take questions. And when we get to that time, I'll tell you what to do about that and how that will work. If you start asking questions now, I will not answer them. And if you spam the chat with questions, our moderators are really cool peeps, and they will put you in a corner time for a few minutes. So we will get there. We're just trying to decompress, ease our way in, chit chat. It's a little bit like when you go anywhere, like to a party or no, I don't know about parties. What I'm talking about. You go to a Munch, right? Like you go in and you do the walk around and hi, and catch up. And well, I don't do that. JB does that, but you know what I mean. And then you get to like the reason you're there. It's not like a business meeting where you're supposed to walk in and immediately get to the point. Not that anybody in business meetings ever gets immediately to the point, but whatever. So do we, Rara. So do we. We were like, I think this week we deserve some.
We've earned it. We've earned it. Absolutely.
Yes, the AC was not dead, but it was apparently dying. So we found a leak in our garage, and we found growth is the official term. The untrained eye would call that mold, but growth is the official term.
On the inside. Yeah.
Which scared us because our neighbor 2 or 3 weeks ago, she had a leak that she found in her garage, and it ended up being under her foundation.
Under the foundation, she had to have the entire house replumbed.
Yeah, and I was like, "What is this? The same thing?" Thankfully, no, it was not the same thing. It was its own expensive issue.
Yeah.
Joys of homeownership. That's what you sign up for, I guess. But
and then today, I got the garage resituated now after all this madness and back to where I can work in there again. And our neighbor across the street had AC company show up, and they had their AC replaced.
Yeah, well, and this is the time of year that if you did not already know you had a problem or scheduled your replacement, the moment you have to put an old system under stress, you're going to find out if this is the summer it dies.
It makes me think of when I lived up north in the cold country. Once winter hits, if you have a good car battery or not. You know if your furnace is good for the season. Yeah. Same kind of difference.
The nice thing is, as it's under warranty, it's got a good warranty.
Yeah.
But probably for as long as we live in the house, or at least close to it, we'll definitely not have to change the ductwork, and we may not have to ever change the AC out. That will be a future homeowner's problem. So that's nice. And then we found out that we, I think, qualify for some rebates from the city that we live in, the city utilities.
Yes.
Because we went up to a more energy efficient unit. So that was nice. So, and the house is cooler.
Yeah.
Despite the heat wave. One thing we had talked about trying to do, because we have been complaining about the heat in this office where we record since we moved in. Our hope had been to add a couple of extra vents in across the office so we could get just plenty of cool air in here. And that's what they gave us a quote for it. They were happy to do the work. And then the people who actually do the work, who are not the same people who tell you that it can be done and give you a quote for it.
Right.
They're like, we would love to add these vents for you, but because this is an addition kind of, they enclosed like a porch area kind of thing. They made an outside space and inside space. They're like, there's no actual access to that part of the ceiling. We can't put
do
vents.
it. Yeah.
But the compromise, I'm happy with. So the corner where our desks are, where our actual working space office is got one vent, and you usually feel the cold air, and it's delightful for you. Me, the perimenopausal one, who is always hot, feels no cold air. I have the fan overhead, and then I put a fan on my desk just to keep air blowing on me. Well, when they couldn't do the vents in the whole office that we wanted, they were like, but we could put another vent over this way where you are that we have access to. And so they were going to try and center the vent to the whole space. They actually centered it in front of my desk. And then they angled all the vents for me. So literally cold air blows right at me. And this third of the room is delightful to sit in. I'm like, we can keep working here. I'm good. My toes are a little chilly. This is wonderful.
And love and hate, no, we do not have a dehumidifier, but that is something I've been meaning to bring up to her because it would definitely help.
I'm sure it would. Maybe we'll wait a couple weeks after the sticker shock of what we just did.
Yeah. No,
kicks in.
Absolutely.
I was looking at the rebates that our city utility company offers. And they have a rebate for a solar water heater. One, knock on wood, right now we don't need a water heater.
Yeah.
Especially now that we know how expensive they have become.
Mm-hmm.
But two, I was like, but wait, should we do that? And I was like, we don't need to do that. We just did a massively expensive home repair. We're good. We can stop right now.
Yeah.
We can just stop.
Yeah, and Anissa, that's what it is. We went with a higher SEER because, the space we have to cool in this house, I'd rather have a unit that's a little over.
Sure.
So it doesn't have to work so hard.
And we have a variable system now.
Yeah.
Which he explained it. I will not repeat it. Anybody who works in HVAC stuff will understand it better than I do, so I'm not going to try. But it's apparently the, quote, superior type. And the more efficient type or something.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm not hot. I'm not sweating my tits off. Like, now here's the irony, the great irony. Our AC was dying because there was the leak and the growth. But we had cold air, okay? The day the duct work went in, which was the day after the new AC went in, we did not have cold air. We were hot as fucking balls around here. And I was like, wait. With the dying system, I was comfortable. With the new system, I'm hot right now. I'm not a fan. It was because the duct, they had to leave for the day because of the heat before the ductwork was fully finished.
Yeah.
But that, I was like, no, I don't like this. I don't like to be hot.
And
Anissa,
if you ever have the opportunity to make it to the community munch up there, it's a wonderful group. There's a big bunch of people that go to that munch, but really a wonderful group of varying people. Lot of great folks there. So if you ever do get a chance to make it,
Arcelia, I'm telling you, homeownership in some ways is great, and in some ways, no. Every time something breaks, I'm like, why didn't we buy a house?
Yeah.
It's because we've lived under crappy landlords, and that's even worse.
Right.
At that point, you don't even have control, but it is definitely, it's not cheap. It's not cheap.
As frustrating as it can be, I would much rather be a homeowner than rent. From the firtake apartment you and I've had together. I've
had one really good, two. I'll take that back. I rented for a very long time across my adult lifetime. My adulthood, there was a word I was going for. It's the end of the day. I've run out of words. Doesn't matter. I've had two decent landlords. One, he built the house to sell it right as the real estate market crashed and tanked in 2008, 7, 8-ish. Oops. So he couldn't sell it. So he rented it. Mm-hmm. But because it was a brand new build, new construction, everything was under warranty. So if something stopped working and I called him, he got his contractor, this person, that person out, and everything got fixed. So never had a problem because it was new. Fast forward, oh God, 6 or 7 years, and the last good landlord I had was a professional colleague who just happened to have, she had a townhome that she was moving out of. She had bought something nicer, but she was like, but I could make some money renting it. And I was about to be divorced single mom, and she went, but wait, I'll give you, she gave me a really good deal on it. It was not the best condition, the newest, the nicest, but anytime there was a problem, even with neighbors, she was like, girl, call me and I will take care of it for you. But other than that, no. Sometimes you feel like you're living in a slumlord kind of place. Like, who is the landlord? They are awful. So no.
Yeah, and you know, who was it mentioned about the thermostat? Anissa. Yeah, I believe I can. When they put all this in, they put in a new thermostat. And apparently I have a little bit of a learning curve with this thermostat because it is a smart thermostat. It even is Wi-Fi enabled. So I have...
you have an ungodly amount of control over what looks like, I'm going to put air quotes around basic because it's definitely an upgrade from any thermostat we've ever had.
Right.
But it's not one of the, quote, smart thermostats out there. But yeah, you have a crazy amount of control over it.
Yeah.
I'm a little afraid because you would have this thing set to like 78 degrees. And these humidities are like, no. Red. We do not receive that. You are going to need to bump this air down and give us some cold fucking air. Somehow I got lucky enough, especially with the new system.
Like, how much is it worth to you?
Look, I might do some crazy things for a Kit Kat bar, but I'll do some real shady shit for cold air, okay? No, I'm very fortunate somehow, and I'm only noticing it now that the whole system's been replaced. So right over my desk, I have a vent blowing in my face, and it is delightful. I won't like it come winter because I don't like hot air blowing in my face. We'll have to change the vents, whatever. Right. And in the bed at night, the way it's angled and the way our bed is, when I lay just flat, whoop, it's coming right at me. And so, just lift everything up and try and get some air under there. It's just the nature of it.
I know, everybody's talking now about housing and renting. I know here in Florida what they are doing, even with rentals, especially apartments. They're building all these what they call luxury apartments. Air quote on that. And they are charging out the ass on the rent for these things. So, Yeah.
I don't know. It's not homeownership is automatically better. Renting is automatically better. I think it's a stage of life thing. I think it's an affordability thing. I think it's like all the things because there were times in my life renting was definitely better.
Oh, yeah.
And there are times now when something breaks, I'm like, should we have stayed as renters? But I'm very glad we own our own home.
Yeah.
I am very glad.
I mean, when I was younger, especially in my early 20s, I was very unsettled, didn't know what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, and renting was the best thing for me.
I would like to interrupt for anybody if you're new here, maybe you're lurking, you're very confused. Yes, this is a BDSM channel, but we talk about everything because real life still happens.
Well, I mean, it is the Friday night hangout that we do monthly, and we just talk about whatever.
I need to interject something that makes no sense in context of what we've actually been talking about. I don't want palmettos or scorpions, okay? I also do not receive either of those. A palmetto got in this damn office the other day. We still have not found it. I'm still mad about it. Y'all, if you only watch us on YouTube, this will not make sense until the next video goes up. But I've already said it before and I'll say it again. If I see it, feel it, think it might be there, I will get up and scream. Okay? I make no apologies for that. Nope. Nope. I don't want spiders. I don't want snakes. I don't want none of it. And I know that there's nowhere I can go that I would be willing to go.
I was going to say, you pretty much eliminated anywhere.
No, thank you.
No,
thank you. Boris is dead. Ding dong, the bitch is dead. Boris is dead. What we should have done is like put his carcass up to scare everybody else. And they'll be like, oh, these people are crazy if we creepy crawl in there or skitter.
Kind of like they used to do in the middle with they hung the heads on spikes.
I'll put bugs and spiders on pikes. Now I do not know. I will not, because I don't want to look at them. Nope. So, Alexis, you are welcome to. I am very fortunate, have been very fortunate that every snake I've seen, at least as an adult, has been far enough away and small enough that I've gone, I'm not going to walk over there, but I also don't feel the need to run and scream and cry. I'm good.
Yeah. So, yeah.
X, thank you, yes. On toothpicks outside the door. It's a warning.
Yeah.
It's a warning to my enemies. You will perish here if you come any closer. You've been warned. I make no apologies for what happens to you
Death
next.
to all bugs who cross the line.
Oh. Look, I know that all of them, I don't know, maybe not love bugs, maybe not mosquitoes, I don't know. Most creepy crawly insect creatures serve a purpose. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. They need to serve their purpose away the fuck from me.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. If you want to serve your purpose outside, I will avoid you outside. I try not to go out there. It's fine. I certainly don't try and go in the middle of no fucking woods. Stay your ass there. But when you come into my house, well, now you're trespassing. Just saying. Yes, Mally.
Yeah.
My walking stick and my...
Need to get to your stick, beard and your white cowl.
I just won't wax anything for a while. The beard will come through. It'll be fine. I've wanted to invest in a muumuu because I think they're comfy. They're ugly, but they're comfy. I don't look good in hats, so I will forego the wizard hat. Pretty sure we probably have some stick-like wood somewhere around here in your garage of, cast-offs. I could do it. I could do it. Yeah.
Now, I have run across a few snakes in the yard here and there. Mm-hmm. They have been black racers. And
I don't know what that means. Nothing to me.
Okay, black racers are good.
Oh, okay.
They actually go after small rodents and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't want any of those in the house either.
They're good to have around. They keep that population down, so I'm happy with that. And I know in the morning when I'm usually the first up before.
Is anybody surprised by this? Nobody's surprised by this.
And few times stepping out into the backyard, we do have woods behind us. I hear owls back there.
I got a great picture on my phone of an owl while I was on a walk.
And, even having them around, I know. And even hawks. We have a red-tailed hawk that is around here on a very regular basis. So. I
just feel something on my phone. Okay, so
I think you're just imagining
probably
things now.
It is. Yes, I really do, Mr. Spock. I would love to be one of those cool nature girls. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, Mr. Spock. No, she does not do nature.
No.
No.
And I am the one that will walk right into the damn spider webs that build themselves between the cars in the morning, and then I do the dance of spider webs with no shame because and then of course I think I feel stuff on me. Okay, it is nearly 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Before we answer questions, I'm going to need an adult beverage.
Okay, I will be back with a beverage for both of us.
Mally, I have no idea what kind of owl, but if I remember, I will post a picture in the Patreon Discord, because I know you're in there, so you're asking the question, and you can see the picture, and maybe you can tell me. So I've gotten into a habit. I try Monday through Friday, most Monday through Fridays, I try and go on a really early morning walk, trying to get my stress down, trying to naturally lower the blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. And are you knocking? There was knocking, y'all. I don't know what he's doing in there. And I've found that nearly every day I find some interesting wildlife creature. Not necessarily completely unique. It's something that clearly would be out there, but I would not normally be paying attention. I would not normally be out there to be paying attention. And one day it was this owl that I saw something fly kind of across my field of vision. And I was like, what is that? And as I kind of got closer, it was perched in a tree. And I got a picture, and it wasn't the greatest picture. And it actually watched me as I was walking past it. And I watched its head swivel at me, and it stared me down, and it was so cool. And I got a picture. So, okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I understand the irony of the fact that I don't want creepy crawlies anywhere near me. I don't like the outside. I want to stay in the house all the time, and I am purposely taking a walk through the outside world where the nature is. It's under my vague control when I want to be there. So it's less awful. I did get a cool picture of a snail. Maybe it was a slug. I don't know, but crossing the road, that was cool. Okay,
Yes.
is that good?
Yes, Kayla's having an angry orchard.
Yes, I am. I'm not going to try and get it up to the lens.
Crisp apple, right? Yeah, crisp apple.
That's like the basic. 2 apples in every bottle. Does this mean that the doctor will be kept doubly away? Okay.
This is good. This is very
delicious.
good.
I love. Okay. Does it taste like coffee or beer?
Tastes like beer with just a hint of coffee.
Okay. I still contend I hate beer, but I will try. Let us hope I don't gag, because not everybody wants to see that. It to me.
I won't have to worry about you drinking that.
That's all yours.
Yeah.
It tastes less like beer than the crappy beers I have tried.
Oh yeah, no.
Long
It's
in the past.
nothing. Yeah.
It tastes less like coffee than a coffee, but it's enough of both that no, because it ain't sweet coffee. There's no cream or sugar flavor going. That's black ass coffee.
No. So, yeah, I have tried a coffee ale before. Actually, it was recommended to me by Mel that time.
Oh, okay.
Remember, I went and found it. There was only a couple places that sold it here.
Teeny tiny grocery store around here.
And I actually enjoyed that.
And which one is that one called?
This one is it's an IPA. It's called Void Shaker Funky Buddha Barrel Aged Coffee Stout.
We got it at Publix.
Yeah, found it in Publix. Happened to just see it while she was looking for that, and it's nice.
And I get more of these to myself.
You
It is officially 10 o'clock our time, so the Q&A portion is open. When there are no questions being asked, we will still chit-chat, don't worry. So, if you would like to ask a question, you will type it out in the live chat. Please tag us at Loving BDSM. That is how we see it easier when the chat starts kind of flowing. We do have moderators. Mr. Spock, Silent Wing. They're fucking awesome. We love them. Please don't choke and die over there.
Try not to.
If you spam, if you repeat your question over and over again, trying to get us to whatever, if there's anything inappropriate, and they have a lot of leeway from us and discretion to decide what's inappropriate, they will put you in a corner, and we're okay with that. They have our consent and permission. Yeah, let's talk about shit, and y'all ask questions. This will not make me tipsy. Maybe by the third one I will be. I don't know how I'll answer questions once I'm a little tipsy. Arcelia, I think it's just like the @ sign and then our name, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I'm assuming so.
@ sign and then the Loving BDSM,
BDSM.
yada yada. Yep.
Look, I am willing to try all kinds of things, alcoholic beverage wise. They just have to be sweet. If they're dry, no, get that shit away from me. If you just know they're bitter, no, I don't like this. I want it to taste like candy. I'm that person. Andre, do you mean punishment on YouTube or some other punishment I have forgotten? Probably not. The answer is no. No, I have not. I almost never learn some lessons.
No, she doesn't. That's why I have to keep reminding her. Keep reminding her.
I knew this is what you were talking about at dinner. Ow! Ow! Oh, and I'm sleeveless, and I'm a white person. We all know this, and I'm already pink as hell. I don't know how visible it is on camera, but I mean, I don't know why I had to declare I was white, like it's not obvious, but you know what I mean, like pale ass skin. Lord. I don't know. Yeah, so somebody might have been a little spicy with her teasing when we went to dinner, the two of us and the 12-year-old. And I still contend that my spicy teasing was fine, but somebody did not take it that way and promised retribution later. And when I saw the slapstick, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah. Yep.
It probably won't be the last Mr. Spock, so by the end of the night, it'll probably be extremely visible. And then tomorrow, we're supposed to go to breakfast. We're doing a Father's Day breakfast, not on Father's Day, on Sunday, because I don't want to be out with the masses.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it tomorrow when it's slightly less the masses on a Saturday. And the kids are, of course, coming with, because it's a whole Father's Day thing. And they'll probably be the ones who are like, Mom, what's wrong with your arm?
Oh,
I'm a masochist.
Slept on it funny.
Actually, lately when they've asked questions that are like I don't even feel comfortable answering, and I also know they can never unknow those things, like where I went today when I went to go get a Brazilian wax, I was like, you don't actually want to know. You can't unknow it if I tell you. The 12-year-old went, okay, I'm good. He accepts that when I give him that answer. 16-year-old went, no, I definitely want to know now. I'm like, well, I don't want to tell you. How about that? Thankfully, we've raised him right, and he backs off immediately. Goes, okay, I respect that. I'm like, okay.
Right.
So,
Mally, I saw that.
Go get that Horizon. I need new glasses. Apparently, Thank you.
Mally, I saw that in the Discord that you're learning cupping. That is something that has always interested me.
Yeah. I've heard, I mean, I know it's used therapeutically.
Right.
Is it one of those things, because I'm kind of intrigued, but the types of pain and discomfort and whatever that I will tolerate are widely vary depending on what's going on. Is it a technically uncomfortable thing? Is there, like, is it a discomfort pain thing, but it's, like, bearable? Or is it, like, there's no, like, how do you perceive that? Because that's the one thing I've never, like, when an athlete with sore muscles gets cupping, I expect them to be going ow, ow, because they're sore muscles. Well, but like for this,
I've done some looking into it, and there's actually two types of cupping. One type uses a vacuum, where you basically just extract the air and it creates a suction against the skin. And then there's fire cupping.
I've heard of that. I've seen a demo of that. I don't want fire anywhere near me. Thanks. Too anxious for that.
Yeah. And, you know, the fire cupping does not hold a big interest for me, at least at this point. I would be more interested in the vacuum cupping.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And Rara made a good point. You know, like anything else, it can be sensual or sadistic. It just, you know, it depends on
I think I'd be more interested
like,
in a lower intensity, I think.
Yeah. I mean, just like, you know, sometimes with a flogging can be sensual or it can be, sadistic.
There are some things that, like, let's back up because I mentioned it. Brazilian wax. Apply hot wax to hairy bits of you and rip out by the root. I do not classify that as wildly painful, not after all these damn years. Almost 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah, 10 years of waxing. But I recognize that there's a level of discomfort. I don't actually find it uncomfortable when the right person does it. My new wax person is totally the right person. We mutually fired JB for being my wax guy.
Yeah.
And so I would not, I understand intellectually that it's uncomfortable, but I don't consider it that. So that's kind of where I'm coming at from. Is it legitimately uncomfortable potentially, or is it again like a variation kind of thing? Which it's a variation kind of thing from what everybody's telling me. So that's I do kind of like the idea of the marks that tend to get left behind. That's kind of cool.
And that's my understanding with cupping. It does leave some nice marks. And Mally said that fire cupping is actually less intense than the vacuum.
That's lovely. I don't want fire near me. It's like I don't want a knife blade near me. I don't want needles near me. I'm good. Everybody out there doing it? Woo! I am very happy at your pleasure. But no. We will start putting kink toys on little pikes around my living space to ward off the things I don't want near me. Whatever it takes. Okay, we have a question from Go Get That Horizon. What are some good resources for a dom that has been burned very bad by a past DS relationship to help them regain their confidence? What would you say as a dominant?
I think just, you need to give yourself some time to kind of process things in that aspect.
And I think you need to find a community, a supportive community that you can develop friendships and relationships with, because sometimes it's the friendships and not romantic or power exchange relationships, but the relationships you have with people who you trust and respect and who trust and respect you, that can help you build up your confidence. And I also think that it's a time thing where you let yourself grieve and go through the emotions brought up by that bad relationship.
Right.
And then when you think you start feeling kind of antsy or ready, or like, I wish I was doing something, whatever that something might be, then I think you start slow.
Yeah.
Very slow.
I mean, it's not even that, and there's no set time for this because everybody is different in how they go through things. So, it's tough. I think what, is important in this, even as a D-type, is some good self-care in times like this. Do things that you enjoy. Definitely go out into the community and be with like-minded friends. That in and of itself is a big help. That can be a huge help.
Yep, especially when you get into, and this can be online or in person, depending on what you have access to. You start getting into conversations with people about experiences, things you want to try, whatever. And often you start realizing just how much you've done, or how much you know, or how much you have thought about something. And just I know for myself, when I start talking about a thing that maybe I feel a little uncertain about, when I'm able to share my knowledge and learn from others, I actually realize I tend to know more than I think I do. I tend to be a little further along than I thought I was. I find that, especially in terms of not great relationships of any kind, for me, I have definitely lost confidence just as a person in the aftermath of a bad relationship or a bad breakup. And it was when I kind of got back to knowing myself, not who I was with the other person or in relation to that other person, but me as the individual. That's where I tended to find my confidence. But in terms of kink and your role as a dominant, dom only groups, there are different communities that will hold workshops, they'll hold meetings that are a little bit like a munch, a little bit like a workshop, and it'll be just people who identify as dominant, or switches, will go in because they have a dominant side, but it's just a bunch of dominants in the room talking about what they go through. And sometimes just hearing other people who are clearly going through some shit you've gone through makes you go, I am not the only one, and maybe they have some words of wisdom that will help me, and maybe I have a perspective that will help them. And that helps gain confidence as well. But definitely, I mean, our theory is always, not theory, there's a word, words are hard.
Yeah.
Our philosophy, that was the word I wanted, is give yourself time and space, and don't force yourself to, get back out there and have another relationship just because you kind of think you have to. You are still dominant even when you're not dominating somebody. That is still a part of who you are, no matter how you relate it to relationships and the way you move through the world. That's still there within you, even without a partner. So yeah.
And Anissa brought up a wonderful thing, the woodshed. Yes, Master Cecil. They have once a month the Dominance Roundtable. It's a fantastic group. I have attended a number of those in the past. It is a great group of people. They do it both live at the woodshed. Again, they're back to doing it live, but they also do it through Zoom, and some great people, great resources. So that if you're on FetLife, look up the woodshed, and that is something fantastic to consider.
Nikki asked, I know you may not be able to use the official stuff due to copyright, but any option of TARDIS blue themed submissive sheets in the future, or maybe magic themed as in Hogwarts? Since I am not an artist and I purchase and license the artwork that I use, if I can find it and it's got the vibes, I'm there in a heartbeat. Would absolutely do it. If you're like, what the hell are they talking about? We have an Etsy shop. Currently I have two all digital products, currently 2 workbooks, and I'm now starting to very slowly come out with habit trackers and planning sheets for submissives who are trying to learn how to do their submissive thing or change some behaviors or habits as part of their relationship. And I've only got 2 themes out right now, and I'm gonna have more. This week was a little chaotic. I meant to do some this week. It didn't happen. And that's what we're talking about. And if you're like, Etsy shop, the link is in the description box. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. But yes, if anything that would hit, somebody asked in Patreon if we would do Marvel, and I was like, if I could license that, yes, I would. I could not afford to license that imagery.
That would probably be a difficult license to obtain, yeah.
But if I ever came across and could legitimately use the artwork and it had that vibe, oh God, I would do everything that hits our own geekery and things that, oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see, I'm scrolling. Okay, I think I see some questions we weren't tagged in, but I'm going to try and, because I can see them in the chat. Love Not Hate asks, this question is going to be in parts because it's long. I've been in the, is that DS or L? I'm in the community for 18 years, served 15 of those with a master. I'm now without a master due to death. I am so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry for your
sorry
loss.
to hear that.
I'm wondering what suggestion you have for someone seeking but not new in the least. I have someone in mind, but I'm very nervous. I just don't want to miss the chance. I'm scrolling, y'all. My main concern is I have several disabilities. I'm afraid he won't give me a chance to see how capable I am because of that. Did I get it all? Okay. I think I got all of your question if I missed parts of it. So the really protective of the people I care about bitchy side of me says if somebody cannot see past something and only sees that and won't give you a chance without investigating further, there's a big part of me that goes, they are not worth your fucking time. But that's really easy to say when I don't have to live the reality. We will continue forever and ever to be fans of moving really slowly. For JB and myself, the first several weeks of us getting to know one another was pure conversation. I mean, I can't even remember when it finally got even kind of sexy, but it was just a lot of talking to each other.
It started out with humor because it was going into the holidays, and I was posting pictures on my blog of the elf on a shelf.
Right, you were doing a kinky elf on a shelf. Right.
Kinky things.
Yes, we're repeating a story we've talked about before, we understand, but it's context for this. Okay, go.
Yeah, and it became a thing with the humor of the photos going into the holidays that we began communicating.
We had this one common point of interest that could be about a conversation. It was not about the relationship. It was about connecting in a way that had nothing to do with power exchange, even though we were very aware of each other's roles. I knew you were dom, you knew I was sub, that was clear and out there. And that just sort of started the ball rolling. So then once we were like, oh, there's clearly some kind of definitely friendship, maybe some interest going on. It really, for us, it was because it was long distance, but I think this can apply to any kind of relationship when you're in that stage. It was just, because we couldn't see one another, we couldn't even hear each other. I would not talk on a phone and do a voice thing at all for a very long time. We couldn't even hear each other's voice. The thing that connected us was our personality, our sense of humor, the things we could talk about.
Right.
And so by the time we got to the point of taking it maybe a step further, becoming more intimate, we already knew one another on a level that mattered to us.
Mm-hmm.
We had already started slowly building trust with one another. And so in our case, the visuals of each other were enhanced because we liked one another. They were not a hindrance. And I will probably forever and always be like, go as slow as you possibly can.
Right.
Really get to know a person. Because quite frankly, if you're getting to know the person and they understand, and when you, especially maybe in your case, because you have disabilities that you're dealing with, if you have not already told them, when you are ready to tell them about those things, whenever that is, hopefully they are still the person that they have been. And you can talk through that, and then that way, if they have these, oh, maybe you can't handle what I want to do, you've established enough of a rapport where you can go, I know you might think that, but let's talk about this. Let's talk through this. Those people, there's not like a place I can tell you where to find those people. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is that some seemingly great people will reject you for reasons that the people who care about you are going to say you shouldn't be rejected for, regardless of the connection you've tried to create.
Yeah.
And that sucks. That sucks. But the cold-hearted part of me, the callous part of me, is like, let them show you who they are in the early stages and let them see themselves out the door. But I know that's easier to say than it is to live.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I know Melly had a question. I've got to find Melly's question. Okay. Whoop. Mel. Okay. Melly says, I kind of got a question. I had a play partner for the past few months. We vibed well, both in play and in general, but then she basically dumped me. The worst part for me is that she cited, hold on, I'm scrolling, the age difference is the reason, and that it weirded her out, which I guess I can get.
Yeah.
But to me, it's 6 years, and she'd literally never brought it up as a concern before. I guess I'm just asking. I'm scrolling, Allie, if people had advice for play partner vetting / interactions, because we're definitely going to see each other around. So I get very squinty-eyed when somebody cites a reason that they never brought up before.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like maybe they had just decided they didn't want to do this anymore for whatever their reasons were, and they treated it as a handy excuse. Now, look, I recognize our bias. 6 years to me is a fucking blip, okay? There's an 18-year difference up here. I am never going to be good at age questions because I'll be like, why does it matter?
And, here's the thing. You and this person went into this play relationship, and obviously they knew about the age difference right up front, and it lasted several months. So, how it kind of strikes me as funny that after that amount of time, it'd be, this is a problem all of a sudden.
Right. It just feels like a handy excuse.
A little while back, I came across a post, someone asking on a DDLG forum about what is too much of an age gap. Okay? And, just like anything else, the answers were across the board.
Sure.
There were some people who said, I wouldn't consider anything with an age gap. They'd have to be the same age.
Right.
Some said several years. Others said, 30 years. It doesn't matter. We're
it's
just
about
people.
The person. Right.
So, it almost sounds to me, kind of an excuse.
Or it was potentially something that they considered an issue. They liked you. They were like, oh, maybe I was wrong about the issue. And then who knows what might have happened. Somebody said something to them. They freaked themselves out. God knows that happens. Now, in terms of you're going to see this person around, unless, and you will know this because you've already dealt with this person, unless they are one of those extremely confrontational people, those people definitely exist. Most people, when they have to see somebody they used to be with out, like in the scene or in public, I have found will either completely avoid the other person so you don't have to deal with them, which I like that one, or they do the fake politeness, almost like you have to work together, so I'll just kind of like be cool and distant, but you know, I won't be an ass. So I think it sucks that you're going to have to see them around, especially when it's sort of like this confusing thing of I thought we were doing fine and now you've handed me this reason. There will always be people who will have a reason. Sometimes they will tell you what the real reason is, and maybe this was the real reason. And there will be people who make up a reason because they can't articulate their reason, or they don't want to, or whatever. And it will suck for the person left behind. There are plenty of people who don't care about age differences. And in BDSM, the only thing that should matter in terms of age really is, are we talking legal adults? I do understand, and I agree, as the parent of somebody who will soon be 18, if one person is 18 and the other one is 60, I will give side eye. Yeah. I mean, like, wait, 5 minutes ago that was a child. But there comes a point where, is it personal preference? Yeah. I mean, and we're all allowed to have personal preference, but if they knew it when they got with you and now they're using it as a reason, I'm going to probably call bullshit on that. And then so there's the part of me that understands that people will do and say things that are less honorable, that are less wonderful about them when they're nervous because they're afraid of a bad reaction. And I feel bad for people when they do that. I have been in that position and certainly have said a thing I didn't really mean to just like not have a confrontation or not have to say a hard thing. But I also really fucking hate it, and I have a minimal amount of patience for it. It's like, wait, we can have conversations about how you're going to beat my ass and string me up from a fucking ceiling and degrade me on all these levels. And I'm going to be vulnerable with you and let you do that. And you're going to be vulnerable with me. And we're going to have this moment. But you can't fucking have the hard conversation with me either before about doubts about, let's say, an age gap, or at the end about why you really, like, I know I'm asking for too much from people because we, as humanity, we are fallible. We will do things differently when we're nervous or scared than we would otherwise do when we're not. But I really fucking hated in power exchange because it's like you already have to like crack yourself open, bare your fucking soul, tell sometimes a near stranger your deepest, darkest fucking desires. You know what? The least you can fucking do is go, look, I have to end this with you because, Kayla, you have the world's most annoying fucking voice, and I can't tolerate listening to it for a second longer. Yeah. Will my feelings be hurt? Yeah. Will I cry about it for a while? Maybe I need to get some therapy. Sure, but you know what I'll know? Your ass told me the fucking truth. I know where the fuck I stand with you. I will also never want to speak in front of you where you can hear me again, and that's a whole other thing that takes away from my point. But, yeah. I am very hot, and I'm only halfway through this drink.
And I bumped the air down before we came in here. Now, you talked about vetting things, people. Sorry. I don't know. Okay, we're vetting things now. Yeah. Okay, I know there's. While you're talking, I'm gonna find the next question. I oddly enough, sometimes things appear when you don't realize it. Somebody I know, I came across something in one of their writings, questions to ask when vetting people. I'm going to reach out to them and see if I can borrow them, make them available to some folks, because I was reading through the list. Some really, really great questions. Okay. As far as vetting people. Okay, cool. Yeah. There are people who can go, here's a great way to vet. And I'm not one of those people, because my way of vetting is I'm going to be really quiet for a very long time because I'm going to watch you like a hawk until you're uncomfortable with the directness of my stare. And then I might ask a question. So, okay, Aaron asked a question. Yeah. I've been married to my wife for 31 years. After watching 50 Shades and opening up about her childhood, she likes the idea of like the daddy-daughter thing fun and bondage, breaking her spirit. Well, can be a hard kink. Yeah. This is so not me, and where do I go to learn? So, I'm gathering that your wife would like you to be the dominant in what we would call a caregiver thing. The title daddy is what is to
my instinct, and I know I want you to share the resources to learn how to be a dominant. My first instinct is to say, let's take a step back for Aaron to figure out what Aaron likes and what Aaron thinks you might be able to do and how your personality might be to fit in this, because your wife has some ideas of what she thinks she'd like based on her experiences, her maybe research, whatever. But now it's got to fit with who you actually are.
Sure.
And to me, that's the first thing to go learn. Mm-hmm. So what would you suggest?
I would suggest, first of all, picking up some books.
Which may be available on audio as well if you're more of a listener than a reader.
Correct. Mm-hmm. One of the first books I read was The Loving Dominant.
John Warren.
Yes.
It's a very popular book. You start searching it in Amazon, it'll pop right up.
Really popular book and a great book. Mm-hmm. Because I think from the sounds of your question, what you're wanting to do is find out more about the power exchange side. So, that is a good place to start. Mm-hmm. On our website, lovingbdsm.net, we have a list of various books.
Mm-hmm. Another one would be the New Topping book.
The New Topping book.
Because that talks about the sort of the philosophies and technicalities of being the one in charge of a thing. Mm-hmm. Whether you're a daddy, a dominant, or whatever. Right.
And some books are written, to kind of lean towards a owner-slave. Some are, high protocol, this, that, and the other. But you can always take them and adopt these things to whatever type of dynamic you're looking to build. Just because these books state a certain thing does not mean you can't change them. They can always be changed and adapted to what works best for you. A lot of it is trial and error. Mm-hmm. And, there is a lot of times a good bit of excitement going into something like this, which is fine, but you have to temper that excitement with patience. Mm-hmm. Because everything you try will not work out the way you expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, even with us, I had been in the lifestyle many years before I met Kayla. Mm-hmm. And there were times, I was like, okay, this is the protocol we're going to implement. This is the rule we're going to do. And after so much time, we were like, oh, this is not working.
It doesn't work for us.
We need to step back and figure this out. Is this something we can kind of, change and adapt to make it work? Or is it going to be something that we totally kick to the curb and, say, all right, well, that's something that's not feasible for us.
Mm-hmm. Some other things I would recommend, whether you have access to an in-person BDSM community or an online one, and to find out if you have access to an in-person BDSM community, FetLife is a really good resource for that. Just type your regional area, your city, or whatever, depending on where you live. Especially if it's a big city, you can literally type your city name and something will come up. Yeah. Really well done communities, well structured communities will often offer BDSM 101 level stuff.
Correct.
They will, like we were talking earlier about, trying to learn about or become a better dom or whatever. Newbies absolutely can benefit from going to a dom meeting, a sub meeting, because then you get the perspective of other people in the room. You don't have to go in and share your life story. You can sit and be an observer and just listen to other people, because some of the best learning I know that I've ever witnessed and I've ever experienced about power exchange and who I want to be and what I think about it came from listening to the perspectives of other people and how they do it. And the thing that you learn very quickly is how individualized it can be, because the books are only going to tell you so much. God knows the fantasies are only going to tell you so much.
Yeah.
I don't, the fact that 50 Shades was a thing that kind of gave your wife maybe some gleanings of, ooh, I'm definitely into this. That is a starting point, meaning 50 Shades is not an example to follow, but it's okay, that it piqued some interest means, okay, let's deep dive into this. And once you get beyond that and you see how it applies to everyday people in their everyday lives, then you can start figuring out how it's going to work for you and your life.
Reading erotica is a wonderful and exciting thing. I love reading BDSM erotica. For the most part, BDSM erotica or any romance fiction like that is not realistic. It is fantasy. It is erotica. It is meant to excite, to titillate, but it is not reality. So, that is something you have to keep in mind. That is not how consensual kink plays out. There is a lot of risk in what we do, especially if you go into the sadomasochistic side. That's why there's things like safe, sane, consensual, racked, risk-aware, consensual kink. Those are all things you need to be aware of. I know places like the Orlando Munch, they hold their Munch once a month, and prior to the Munch, because often a Munch is a person's first step into the lifestyle in a personal sense. Prior to the Munch, they do a BDSM 101 prior to the Munch, where you can go. People ask questions. They talk about various things in the lifestyle, kind of to give you a primer. So, if you live in an area that has something like that, all the better. That's something to think about and consider looking into.
Yeah, where you're at right now is the absolute learning stages. That doesn't mean you can't play with fantasies and like some kinky sex kind of stuff. I would not rush out to buy a bunch of toys. I would not rush out and start implementing rules and protocols. Maybe test the waters with some stuff. If your wife is like, I would really like it if you called me this, or I would really like it if you did this thing, definitely go ahead and play with it. The thing for you to do, though, is to check yourself of how it makes you feel, okay?
Yeah.
Because the thing about kink and BDSM and power exchange, and I somebody actually complimented me on this metaphor, so you're going to hear it a whole hell of a lot more now because I've been validated. It is a Venn diagram to me. There is what you want there, or that you're going to figure out that you want. There's what your partner wants, and then you come together, and what you play with and what you do is where those desires and needs and interests intersect. That's the place you're going to play in, especially at first. If you discover a part of yourself that you didn't even know you had, and who's like, I kind of like this, maybe with some tweaks, maybe not exactly the way your wife envisions it, that's fine. And then you can, once you kind of find your groove of how that might look for you, it may never be a full power exchange the way we think of it. It might be kinky sex and role play from time to time, and that's okay too.
But if you find that happy medium that works for you, that's all that really matters.
Right. And once you find that happy medium, then as your both of you, as your comfort level grows, then you can start playing a little bit on the edge of where you intersect in that Venn diagram. But yes, now that the Venn diagram metaphor has been validated by other people, you're going to get sick and tired of it. Okay. There was another question.
Yeah.
Please tell me you did not jump. Okay, there it is. Okay. It's from Little Miss. Married my husband when I was 18. We are 24/7 daddy little for 10 years. We decided to start a family soon. Any tips about changing into first-time parents without our kink being overlooked? So I just...
Scheduling.
No, let's be real about something. First of all, you don't know how pregnancy's going to hit. If that's how parenthood is going to happen for you. And that could... I'm very glad I didn't have to try and have power exchange to be pregnant. And I will say... And I do not mean to be dismissive, and can people make it work otherwise? Absolutely. And you may be one of these couples, but I would just like to tell you that minimum, that first year of life, if you manage to get an iota of kink in your life, you're doing better than so many others, because having kids in whatever way, whether you biologically give birth and got newborn to the rest of their lives, or you adopt or whatever, that adjustment period of going from not being a parent to being a parent, that's a rough one. I am so glad I was not trying to be kinky and in a 24/7 power exchange when those children out there were babies. My hat's off to anybody who makes it happen. Now, set those expectations that you might not put it on the back burner like it doesn't exist, but you might not at all for a certain amount of time get a chance to do anything like you're used to now. That doesn't mean you give up everything. I think it comes back to a lot of communication.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you to go ahead and try and plan for what you imagine it to be, but be very, very ready for that plan to go up in smoke the moment it comes in contact with an actual child you have to raise, okay? It is okay to try and pre-plan. Just know that that plan is probably not going to survive anything. I think as parents, once you get out of the initial whirlwind of what the hell just happened to my life, it has exploded and there are children's things everywhere, right? Once you get past that initial shock, then it becomes about how to perform some of your DS and your kink in very subtle ways, so you're not being clocked. Your kids are not going to know. They might ask questions. There are easy ways to answer questions without actually telling a kid a thing. If you're going to have newborns, they're like little footballs. If you have one that sleeps a lot like a cat, my first one slept a lot like a cat. That is why I felt confident to have a second one, okay? Because I could do almost anything in the first few months of the oldest life because he just slept a lot. So I could have had conversations with a partner about kink. We maybe during nap time probably could have gotten like 5 minutes of kink in. That second child though, no, that would never have worked. So it's a lot more just conversation and talking about your power exchange. It's reminding each other that the power exchange is there and you can get back to it. It might look different by the time you do. If you have the resources of family and friends that you will trust to watch over your child, once you're ready, whenever that time comes for you, take date nights, take time away, go reconnect with one another.
The power exchange aspect of that, we have a lot of little subtle things that denote our power exchange for us that many people would not pick up on. Like when we get in the car, she gets me my sunglasses, swaps my glasses out for me. When we're walking, when we're in a store, she has to walk on a certain side of me. You know.
Yeah, there are things that we do that they only mean something to us. They don't look like anything. They don't actively disrupt most of our day. Like they fit in with the rhythm of our day.
Right.
If you can find those things now and be thinking about them and how they will be practical to your life, but you can put the edge on them of this is power exchange. Look, as a daddy little situation, that's caregiver freaking central. And if you are going through the pregnancy side of, starting a family, to the extent that you want and to the extent that your partner can, embrace some of that. I do not have any experience with, if you are the type of little who maybe has a little space and gets into headspace or, reverts to a certain age or anything like that, I can't remember the word. It's late. Y'all know what I mean.
Age regression.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have that experience, I know there are people out there who talk about it in terms of also being a parent, and some people struggle to find that balance, and some people actually find it easier because they can be a little childlike with their kid for some small amount of time, because you do still have to be the adult taking care of a child, and that in my experience did not leave a lot of headspace for playfulness at all, but everybody handles it differently. But yeah, I absolutely embrace subtlety. Absolutely just go in expecting that the whole structure of your relationship might get blown up, and that can suck. That really can suck, but you can always get it back. If y'all stay in constant communication to the best of your ability. As parents, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to form words because you're tired. I get it. I remember the little kid days all too well. And at a certain age, however many kids you end up having, privacy is like, what is privacy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hadn't met her. But the stages that make it hard do not last forever. Weirdly, there was a stage, because by the time you and I met, the kids were 3 or by the time we got together and we were living together, they were 3 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
So they were way out of the baby stage, but the little one definitely still needed a lot of supervision. And the oldest one, excuse me, y'all, I'm hiccuping and burping. The oldest one.
Have another drink.
I would love it. I haven't finished this one yet. The oldest was just at that age where he was like, I will ask all of the questions you really wish I wouldn't ask. And then we got to a middle stage where they were sleeping real solid, and we had like good space between us and we could do more stuff. And then we got to a time, they were older. We weren't even dealing with toddlers and babies and stuff, but they had too much stuff.
Now they stay up later than we do.
Right. And actually that's a thing where we used to play after they went to bed because they were such sound sleepers. We would never play after we go to bed, because even if they are lights off, supposedly they are awake and they might hear us.
Yeah.
So whatever you've structured your life as pre-kids, I really think if you go in knowing that this will probably get blown all to hell and you're going to have to put it back together in a way that will work for your new normal, knowing that, in my opinion, tends to take the pressure off.
Yeah.
Like, because then you don't have the expectation of trying to keep this all together the way it was. It's not going to be. Your whole life is about to shift and change. And that could be a wonderful thing, but it's a stressful thing. And look, I'm glad I'm a mother. But if anybody had said to me, thankfully I don't have family members like this, that these are beautiful days while I was like, had not showered and a child had a leaky butt and had kept me up half the night crying. Like, I'd have been like, are you fucking kidding me? And then if somebody had tried to go, but I also need you to be a service submissive while we're at it, I'd be like, fuck you. Get the fuck out of my face. So knowing that will probably happen hopefully relieves the pressure to try and keep performing at the same level. That is the thing I will say. But also, if you can find community online or in person of people who are Kingsters who are also parents and they will talk about that kind of stuff, you'll get a lot more advice from people who are in the trenches. We're at a point now that the youngest kind of needs us and we don't leave them alone for too long, but we're so close to the point where these people do not need us anymore. And it's light at the end of the tunnel, y'all. Is beautiful.
And Andre, no, you're not alone in that. As far as the opposite of what you were parented, you know, as a point, many times I find me asking myself, what would my father do? And I'd answer that, and then okay, I am going to do the total opposite.
So, I think it was around Mother's Day this year. It might have been earlier than that. I was talking to my mom. I have a really good relationship with my mom. I had a rocky-ass childhood. And she is aware of it. She went through it in her own way with me. And she reached out to me, texted me something. And I was talking about stuff I was dealing with the kids and the way I was handling it. And she came back and texted me and said, I am really proud of you. You are doing things that not a lot of people are willing to do. You know, you're accepting of your kids the way they are. And I was like, oh, this is great. Well, I love me some validation. Okay. I said, well, and I've said it to her before, so this was not new information. I said, I think of what I did not like as a kid and where I think things were not done correctly, and I am purposely choosing to do them differently. And this is why my mom and I can be tight, because even though she was part of some of those bad decisions and those things I don't agree with, she goes, and that is why I'm proud of you, because you can do that and you're willing to do that. Many of my parenting decisions are in a direct opposition to the way I was raised. I didn't come to that decision right away in parenting. I tried to do this is how I was raised, and I seem to be fine, she says as she twitches, and cries in the shower. It's fine. That worked for about 2 whole seconds. And then I went, okay, this doesn't work. And I don't want to parent this way. Yeah. Why don't we try something different? So I did the thing. I think many of us, if not all of us, have that moment in childhood where we go, I will never be this way as a parent. And I went, you know what? I said it. Well, what's the worst that can happen? And so, yeah. Okay. I am very hot. And I still haven't even finished this one. I will not hurt a cricket. You're right, Silent Wing, but I also don't want to touch one, and I really don't want it to be near me. I like the metaphor. Is metaphor even there? Probably not. The symbolism of crickets. I don't want an actual cricket, thanks. Yeah, Arcelia, when I was a kid, there were times when my mom was kind of all I had, the only person sort of in my corner, and then there were times where I was like, she's choosing him over me and I am clearly losing, and I didn't know how it would end up. We still have our issues. I really should find a therapist to deal with some of that, but in general, the way she chose to treat me as an adult was in direct opposition to how her mom was when she was an adult. Her mom was one of those moms that was a meddler and did the guilt trip thing and got what she wanted or attempted to by making both her children feel bad. And my mom always said, I told myself I would never do that to you. And so there are times she will watch me run headlong into the dumbest shit I've ever done. And if I ask her, she'll tell me what she thinks. If I don't, I know this though, so I don't ask her. But on the other end of it, if she told me, because I asked, it was a stupid ass thing to do. On the other end of it, when I'm like, reeling from the shock of my dumb ass decisions, she'll support me in getting through it. And maybe it was hearing her, because she told me very early on, I was like 18 or 19, and she said, I will not treat you the way my mom treated me. I'm making that decision. I wonder if that's what gave me the permission, air quote around that, to make different decisions. But it helps that's helped maybe. My mom and I have a really good relationship, even in places where we definitely don't agree. And I really think she's making mistakes, but I also give her the same grace she gives me. Yeah. Until she asks me what I think, I'm going to let her live her life. And if we get to the other side and she's like battered around a little bit, metaphorically speaking, I'm going to be there for her, even though I saw that coming from a mile away.
Well, we've talked about this and, a little bit. One of the big things and differences, and I'll admit this here, one of the big frictions between my father and I, even at this point and age in my life, he does not treat me as an adult.
No, God, and you're fucking 60.
Right.
You're about to be 61.
He still treats me like a 6-year-old child.
Yep.
Your mother, and I watch this because I see your interactions. She treats you as an equal, as an adult.
Sure. I'm sure that was a process for her to get to. I think, weirdly, what got us there was when my evil stepdad, and I mean that literally, got in between us and made her stop enabling me when I was about 23, 24, maybe a little older, 25. I don't like how it happened, but that it happened forced me to grow up a little bit more than I already had. And by the time she and I kind of came back together in the aftermath of that, what it was is that it's not that I wasn't capable of it, is that she wanted to ease my way for me. Yeah. And so she did because she could, because she would say, I remember being where you're at in life and there was nobody who could help me and I can help you, so I will. Which I have that same philosophy as a parent, and sometimes it's the wrong choice. Yeah. And so it was a Band-Aid being ripped off. She stopped helping me. I had to figure it out on my own. That is when my next level of maturation occurred. And that's when our relationship really solidified of being more like equals. She is still always my mom. When she is here for more than a few days, we're both ready for her to go home. We, meaning me and her, because after about 4 or 5 days, she's trying to tell me how to live my life in this house because she's a mom and she can't help it, and she thinks I should pick up the towels a little bit quicker, and why didn't I fold this way, and she can't help herself. Thankfully, it's mild. But yeah, it's complicated and complex.
It is. It's not a...
And I'm hot, and this chair is putting marks on the back of my legs, and all of my crevices are hot and sweaty, but I still want another drink. I'm not even buzzing. Yeah. I'm not drinking fast enough. If anybody has questions, please keep asking them.
Yeah. I know. I mean, we've done all we can at this point.
Technically, I can feel cold air is just not enough.
I know.
The perimenopause is strong.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Mally, I can kind of get that. I think that's what JB's side goes through. Everybody wants a better relationship, but nobody's willing to go, maybe I actually have to do something to make that happen. Right. Maybe I've been part of the problem. And that is a hard thing. I mean, it takes a level of self-awareness, which not everybody has, and it requires being willing to admit wrongdoing, to admit not knowing. I kind of get this. The first time I ever had to tell my kids when they asked something, I don't know, I don't have an answer for you, it was weird, because there's this thing about how we're supposed to know everything. First of all, your kids kind of think you do, at some point anyway, and then you kind of want to have answers for them, and you don't. But weirdly, after I did that the first time, one, it became easier. Two, it meant that I could admit when I had been wrong. Because if I can admit I don't know something, then I could admit that I thought I knew something and found out later I was wrong. I've apologized to the kids before. Like, that was out of line. I shouldn't have acted that way, and I apologize. That was not fair to you. I've said those kinds of things, which I think, as contributed to the fact that even now they're supposed to be in these teenage years where, kids don't like their parents. Ugh. No, I mean, they want to do their own thing. They don't want to be around me. I'm the cool mom, but they don't think so. But they like me. Like,
yeah.
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 And they're, being vulnerable like that, that's hard for, especially parents of a certain age and from certain generations where you're taught that you're like a god or something. Is there something flying around?
There is. I don't see it, but.
Okay, I saw something come through. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, no. First of all, it's a gnat flying around. Yeah, have another. No. There will be no anothers. One, this factory closed almost 13 years ago when the youngest was born. And two, I've had a hysterectomy. It is not happening. Not physically, anyway. Also, I can see light at the end of a tunnel. Or did you mean have another drink? Maybe I am tipsy.
Yeah.
I'm just hot. But if we were talking about having another child, hell no. If we're talking about having another drink, yes. This is that moment where I have to go, I sometimes read things too fast and assume meaning, and then I'm wrong. Guess what? That was me being wrong. Everybody will laugh at me, and I will only feel kind of bad about that. Look, at the end of the day, deep down, I'm still that, like, 4th grader who remembers who's getting laughed at and will go cry by myself later.
Okay. So
I am very hot.
I see that. I think it's just because you're worked up.
I am.
I'm kind of I'm not, like chilly, but I'm comfortable.
I am not. I'm hot.
There's a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm going to answer, and it also goes back to a
Do you
question.
trust me to open a bottle?
Sure.
Do you think I'm capable?
I think you're capable.
I don't know that I'm capable, but I'll try.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm holding the bottle. See, I misinterpreted, and then I went off on a tangent. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, where'd it go? What your favorite? Go get that Horizon favorite type of wood to work with. And early on, Andre asked about getting certain types of wood, if the availability of certain types of wood. So I'm going to tie those two together real quick. The availability of certain types of wood, still not good. I was at the sawmill last weekend, a week ago tomorrow, Saturday, and he was telling me Purple Heart, he will not be able to get any Purple Heart till after January of next year, and even that is iffy. Availability of a lot of exotic woods is getting scarce on a lot of things, and with the supply shortages and being able to offload stuff at ports being a problem, it is what it is. Now, for example, ash has been a staple wood that I have been using. He had none this time. Now, he did happen to have some beautiful locust that I picked up in replacement for the ash, but that just goes to show you. Now, luckily, the black walnut he is still able to get. So that is a good thing. Now, as far as some of my favorite woods to work with, oh my gosh, I would have to say probably Bacote is one of the ones right at the top of the list. The grain in that is just amazing. I have used that wood for turning. I have used it to make paddles, different things with Bacote, and it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. In all honesty, years ago, when I first started working with it, it was a tough wood for me. Sorry, I had to chuckle at that. To work with, because it is an oily wood. And it took me a little bit to figure out that certain oily woods like that, you need to do some different things to make the finish stick. Once I got past that, oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful wood. But, you know, favorite, I mean, you know, I do a lot of stuff with walnut, black walnut, because that is a very popular wood with people. And, you know, people might think, oh, black walnut, you know, yeah, it's a wood. But I'm going to show you something here real quick because, you know, yeah, it may be a, you know, what some people think a basic wood, but look at this. This is the kind of thing that you come across in the wood, that you take a basic wood and look at these. Look at the color variation and the grains in these. I mean, the color and the swirls are just absolutely beautiful.
And you can't plan for that.
No, you can't. You know, excuse me. I was talking to someone on FET a little bit ago about different woods, and you know, it's like a treasure hunt, because you get this raw piece of wood and you know, you see this raw piece of wood and it's rough on the outside, and you don't really know what's there until you start working it. So yeah, I just didn't take the mic with me. Yeah.
You said some lovely things. It was wonderful.
I know.
Couldn't repeat them.
Yeah,
though,
no. Okay. All right. I tried to up my volume a little bit, but I guess it didn't work. All right. Sorry, folks.
You get so excited about the wood. Everything else falls away.
Yeah, you know me and wood.
I do. Because you get so excited about it. I'm not there. Time has no meaning.
Yeah.
Let's see. Go Get That Horizon asked if you're taking custom orders. Yes, actually.
Yes.
Says, I'm a nomad and have a van I'm building out to live in 50% of the year and would love to have some of your work in my space.
Wow.
At our website, thekinkery.com, there's a contact page. That'll go to the email we have for the site. You can use that to send what you might be thinking of, and
yes,
then JB will let you know.
Absolutely.
Or he'll tell me what to say, and I'll let you know. It depends. Yeah, it depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are back to taking custom orders again.
Correct.
You're working on a really cool one right now.
Yeah.
We won't show pictures or talk about that till it's finished and been shipped off. I've started doing that with like the resin inlay paddles and stuff, because you never know who's buying what for a gift. So it's like after it's gone out, then I'm like, okay, before it leaves, I take the picture, and then a few days later it'll get posted, and usually by then they have it. So,
yeah, Anissa, heavy grained woods, burl wood is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Even I have seen that and understand.
You know, I was talking with Kayla tonight. I have on a shelf a stack of wood, pen blank size and larger, of spalted maple that I need to stabilize. And you know, I have the equipment to do it. I just need to
just add that to your never-ending list.
To my never-ending list of stuff to do. You know, spalted wood is beautiful. You know, you get those dark striations through the wood, and it's amazing. And I have plans for it, good plans.
Sure.
It's just doing it.
It's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
So I want to address two things from Silent Wing. On the glow in the dark paracord, forgot all about it. If you want to like send me an email I remember to go back to and just go, reminder, glow in the dark paracord. That's fine. Also, Silent Wing.
Excuse me.
Wow. Congratulated me on opening the bottle without losing an eye. I do not want to tell you how long it took me to find something with which to open these, because I thought we had a bottle opener.
No, we don't.
Well, technically we have several. They're all attached to wine corkscrew things that we don't know how to use well either.
The can opener.
Oh, I don't know how to use that. I finally, I was in a panic. I stood there in the kitchen like, what is happening? I started shuffling through all of the drawers, finally found something. And then once I'd found something, then I still struggled to get the caps off.
Well, that's like, you know,
your cat came into the kitchen and meowed at me in a very accusatory tone, like, where the fuck are we?
Well,
and why is she alone?
It is after 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And usually between 10 and 10:30 is when I give her her nightly brushing.
I know, when you're late.
And here I sit with you and not brushing her. How dare I? So, yes.
And her meow has developed. And I wanna describe this in a way that I hope is not inappropriate. So you know the stereotypical way that older Jewish moms are portrayed in sitcoms with that voice coming at you from like another room, you hardly get to see them. That's her meow. That's her meow.
Would you kind of say like
Howard's mom?
Howard's mom.
Big Bang Theory.
The way they, yeah. Yeah.
I am not saying that all Jewish moms sound like that. I would never say that.
No.
But the stereotype as it's presented in sitcoms, that's Onyx. That's her meow. And she would like to know why you were neglecting her.
Right. Yeah.
Not me. She didn't want me. I was the messenger to come let you know.
Right. So it's all your fault. All your fault.
Don't be knocking bottles over.
So.
Oh, that last one.
Yeah, Onyx and I have kind of developed a relationship. She will not let me pick her up.
Until she's sedated.
Until she has to be sedated.
Which she needs to get her flea medicine at the end of this month. We'll get to sedate her for that.
Get to sedate her for that.
Yes, we have to sedate her cat to get her flea stuff.
You know, yeah, she will not let me pick her up. Now, when I am sitting at my desk, she will willingly come and curl up in my lap.
Oh God!
Only when I'm at my desk. But at night, I kind of found by accident she loves being brushed.
Oh God, yeah.
She loves being brushed, and we have developed a nightly routine. Before I go to bed, I will brush her. And she loves this so much. She is just purring her.
The moment you come out of the office and start walking towards the bedroom, wherever Onyx is, she will leap and race to the bedroom to jump on the bed for her to get brushed.
And she gets so into it. There are times I'll put my hand down on the bed and she'll lay her head in my hand while I'm brushing her, and she is so she drools.
Yeah, she makes wet spots on the bed because she drools. She lets me rub her primordial pouch.
Yeah.
Dustin asked, I remember a while back you stopped using oak. Any particular reason why? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Silent Wing.
When I first started doing the paddles, it was initially it was just for us. You know, in the beginning, the paddles made was just a few paddles here and there for us, and I shared a few things at the Munches at that time. And I was buying the oak at the big box stores.
Mm-hmm.
Lowe's, yeah. And let's go back to 2019 when the world went to shit.
Well, it went to shit in 2020.
Well,
if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020.
2020, you're right. Okay.
I mean, was
Yeah.
the world shit in 2019? I think we can make the argument that
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Different shit, different day.
Right.
I don't know.
but anyway, the oak that I was getting at that time from those stores, the price started going up, which, okay, you know, prices go up, but the quality went way down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not happy about that. And that's when I started looking for other wood alternatives, was how I found the sawmill I've been dealing with
And
now.
the sawmill you go to, he doesn't carry oak.
He does not carry
It's
oak.
It's not a wood that...
It's not something... He does not carry it because he says if it's really something you want, you can get oak pretty much anywhere.
Right.
You know, you're not going to go to a big box store and get walnut. You're not going to find cherry there. So, you know, with the price going up the way it has, you know, it is what it is. But the quality of the wood, because even when I was still buying some of that oak, I was getting less and less out of it because it was so bad. It either had big knots and holes in it, or it was just warped like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I've pretty much kind of backed away from that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm working with something better and more
variety.
More variety. I mean, between the cherry, between the maples that I get, the black walnut, you know, and all these different things. So, you know, it's just, you know, the way things have transitioned, mm-hmm. in a sense. So, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go Get That Horizon asked, would it be okay for me to send you a sticker for my blog for your wall? Of course it would be. And as Statling has said, our P.O. box is in the description box. Yeah, we have not advertised the desperate desire for mail in a very long time, but
I know.
I continue to be a baby girl who squeeze a little bit when we get mail that is not a bill and is not from the IRS. Just saying.
Yeah, right.
I was grateful that there was nothing official and important when I went to check our P.O. box this week. But also I was disappointed that there was nothing in the box. So, you know, go for it. Let's see. I saw a question come in. Dustin says, well, I'm honored to own some limited edition oak from the early pieces. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
You now own collector's items because those will probably never be made again.
Right.
Jerica asks, any advice on looking for a new daddy and where to look for one? As I say often, kinky people are wherever people gather. So you can do things like kinky dating apps. You can go to FetLife if you want, if you're comfortable there. But you can also just, whatever online space you hang out in, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, there will be kinky people there.
Yeah.
You have to go look for them. There's not a big sign with an arrow pointing. The thing about looking for a partner of any type is you can do dating apps if that, if that suits you. The thing about looking for a partner of any type, in our opinion and in our experience, other people will see it differently, we highly recommend getting to know them on a friend's level first, unless what you're looking for is a quick hookup or a casual thing or whatever. That's fine. And that a lot of people, in your case, you're asking about daddy. A lot of people will call themselves a daddy. They're not a fucking daddy. Okay. They're just not. So it's important to look past the words, what they say to you, and to focus on how they actually behave. Do they follow through? Do they keep their word? Are they consistent? But wherever people gather, there are kinky people. If you have access to an in-person community, you can start going to whatever community events might be in your area. Again, I don't personally recommend kind of going on the prowl looking for a partner. I think you go looking to see who you might connect with in whatever way that might mean in a friendly like open kind of way. And when I say open, I don't mean you like share your life story from the first moment, but sort of a let's just see what the universe throws my way kind of vibe. Because you might not meet a person who becomes your partner, but you might get to know and become friends with, genuinely become friends with, somebody who ultimately introduces you to the person who will be your partner. I think that the biggest mistake a lot of people make is being so focused on finding a partner, any partner, that they either settle for or get wrapped up in somebody who is disingenuous and is not good for them, and in an effort to submit to somebody who says a few of the right words, then things don't go so well. But yeah, wherever, if you have access to a local kink community, always recommend that if you're comfortable doing that. But otherwise, anywhere people gather, there's kink people there.
And I think that's the best answer you can give. You know, a kinky community, because you go out and meet people in the community, not to say there aren't bad communities, but for the most part they're going to be good. So whoever you meet there is going to be vetted within the community.
Sure.
So that's really your best bet. And Silent Wing said, need to wait until another storm hits
to go get some wood.
Keeps
being pine and oak.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, when we lived in West Central Florida after Irma hit, I went around and oh my gosh, I had oak wood. I had eucalyptus.
Oh, I loved it when you had eucalyptus.
Yeah. And
eucalyptus, and was it? Oh, what was the other one I liked? Started with a C. Was it cypress? No. No. What's the one that smells really good?
Camphor. I had a lot of camphor. And, she laughed at me because when we moved here to Ocala, we got a storage unit up here.
I forgot about that.
To start moving stuff up here, non-essentials, and have it here. And she laughed at me because I had big old camphor logs. I had
Our
eucalyptus
storage unit was
logs.
half wood.
I had wood stored in there that I was bringing.
We
up
packed
here.
boxes that had wood in them, not wooden products.
Raw wood.
Yeah.
So, she laughed at me. So yes, I definitely, after the storm, sycamore. That was another wood I collected from that storm. Right down the road from the condo on the very end of Belcher, there was that huge sycamore tree that came down during the storm.
I just remember the wood.
And it was sitting on the side of the road waiting to be picked up. I went there with my chainsaw. I was just hacking logs off of it.
Yep. Okay, I saw some other things come through. And Kitsune, I'd imagine, in places where when you're with people who are all about the hookup and they're not, either that's all they want or that's all they think they're supposed to do, it is hard to navigate that. Which is why have always been, not that I want to go out and meet anybody, I'm very grateful I've met people online, primarily. That's why I'm a reserved person in person. I'm staying quiet and watching, and I'm watching the vibe. And if what I see is a bunch of hookup bullshit, because that's not what I'm interested in, I know to avoid that. And if that's the whole thing I'm in, it's time to go, and let's go to the Denny's or something.
I mean,
it's tough out there.
It's tough. I mean, even as someone who, I identify as poly. I kind of step back for a bit because it just...
And I think you have to do that sometimes. It becomes a freaking rat race. You're on a hamster wheel. Let me throw out all those descriptors.
It was just getting kind of ugly out there with some of the people I was meeting.
I not just in our experience, but in the conversations I have with people, some of the most impactful people you will meet, whether you're together forever or just for a short time, are not usually met in those kind of meat market kind of hookup culture places. It's the random people that you never expected that might have just been at the right place at the right time and made a comment that you vibed with, and next thing you know, you're in a conversation you didn't expect to be in. Or it's a person you happen to see at multiple things. Maybe you're at an in-person community and you're like, wait, I keep seeing this person, and then the opportunity presents itself for you to comment on that, and it is, I don't know, and I think Arcelia said the thing that was exactly what I was going to say, Jerica, on kinky dating apps. I personally have none that I can recommend because I don't go on them, and Evie here on YouTube is exactly who I'd recommend because I cannot remember how many videos she has, but I know she'll do reviews of kinky dating apps.
We had someone approach us
about they wanted to sponsor us.
They wanted to sponsor us.
Yes, we've told this story before, but context it makes sense here.
That had a kinky dating app, and at that time I was very open to meeting someone, and why not? I will
try this out.
I will try the app out and see if it's someone we want to associate with and promote. Oh.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Yes, I did come across people in my area. I reached out, I messaged them. Never heard back. Mm-hmm. And I did pay for the app at that time.
Yeah,
I paid.
Yeah, I had to remind you to unpay
for that because it was a very expensive app. And reached out, messaged to people. Never heard back from anybody. The people who reached out to me, I would message them back, and nothing.
And that, I think, is kind of typical in the dating world
in world to begin with. But the worst of it to me, what drove me over the edge, I was inundated with spam.
Yeah.
From 20-somethings and 18 and such, just constantly.
And that happens everywhere.
True.
I don't even remember what my FetLife bio says. It doesn't matter because the people who do this aren't reading your bio anyway.
True.
I actually got a message. I caught back up with my FetLife DMs, both for Loving BDSM and Michaela one. Mm-hmm. And there was somebody here in our local area who randomly messaged me. I was like, hey, you look kind of nice. Why don't we send some pictures back and forth and then maybe we can talk? And I was like, first of all, nothing says I didn't look at you beyond your picture and maybe your name. Maybe I saw your age and your, kink roll before I just cast that wide net. This is the same message I've probably sent to hundreds of fucking people this week, seeing who is willing to take me up. I was like, delete.
I mean, Shandi, I think the best advice as far as that and meeting someone, if you are in an area where you have munches where people host socials,
or you can get to an area,
or you can get to an area, that is going to be your best bet to meet, real people who,
and there are this is not a plug for us. I mean, I'll always plug us any day. I'm mercenary like that. But there are online groups and communities of like-minded kinksters. You are a part of a couple of Discord groups that aren't ours where kinksters gather. Facebook has, I think, still, I haven't heard of any mass deletions of secret groups.
Yeah.
If Facebook is a place you spend time, it is not a place I spend time. They have tons of secret groups of kinky people. Now, those groups will not all be right for everybody, and some of those groups will absolutely be toxic. Mm-hmm. But if meeting in person...
excuse me.
Meeting in person is not an option, or you've been down that road and you're like, oh, that's slim pickings. No, thank you. Okay. Mm-hmm. There are online spaces, and for some people, myself included, I do a lot better typing at you than I will ever do meeting you for the first time in person sitting across from you. I'm more willing to share, more willing to have conversations. Is it easier for people to lie and to pretend to be something they're not? Of course it is. The spaces are out there. It's just then the effort that we have to put in to going to find those spaces or be invited to those spaces or be available for people to get to know the fact that we're kinky and then to tell us about spaces. And count my lucky stars all the time that I am not out there looking for nothing.
Yeah. I know you're poly in theory. I know.
Well, it's such a weird thing because the few times in my life I went looking, that did not end well. Up until you, all the times that people just like found me in whatever, and all online. You're the only one that's stuck, so you are stuck. Sorry. No returns, refunds, or exchanges. But that's actually because
warranties run out. Can't trade.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No. There's no upgrading to newer models. Nope. Stuck with me. But I actually still, if I'm gonna meet somebody, it's gonna be because they looked at my weird reserved ass and went, I'll message that person, and then they will have said something interesting enough that I'm willing to respond back to. My trust issues are no better or worse than they were when you and I first met, but I now have enough experience, sadly, being online where random people message me wanting something from me without ever being willing to give a little bit, that I'm actually now distrustful on that level as a person who's just online. And puts my public life out there for the world. But that, I mean, and that's not a thing you can plan for. Like, I can't give dating advice and go, you know what you should do? Just go exist in the world and see who bumps into you. Like, that's not practical. But that's how it has worked for me.
I mean, even on FET, I have so many people reach out to me on FET, and I've gotten to the point that, okay, well, you know, I'd love to. We sound great. You have, you know, our kinks line up, this, that, and the other. I would love to meet you. I am at this Munch every month. You know, happy to meet you there and talk. And
yeah. And sadly, there are a lot of people. It is easy to talk good game online, and it is much harder to like be real in person. And, you know, again, my forgiving nature is like, I cannot imagine how hard it is. And if you've gone through a lot of rejections, or you're an anxious person, or you just don't have faith that it's going to work out, or whatever. But also, I'm too fucking old and cranky. You want to be in a goddamn power exchange? You want to be like open and bare your goddamn soul, or at least have the other person do it? Fucking put your big person britches on and get your ass to the meeting that we set up so we can fucking meet one another. Like,
I understand that, you know, especially if someone has never been to a Munch before, there is a certain hesitation and pause because, you know, let's be honest, many of us are concerned about our privacy and the fact that what we're doing is not societally normal. You know, society does not look at it, you know, as something that we should be doing. Fuck them.
Yeah.
But, you know, the fact that at a place like a Munch, there is no pressure to do anything that...
No. If it's a well-run, respectful community, no.
Right. So... You know, and everybody else there has that same concern.
Right.
So, you know, and even there, you know, there are a good number of people who have the fantasy of it.
You will always have to navigate through that.
Right.
Meeting people's hard. Meeting people in a community where you're already kind of going against societal norms and stepping way the fuck outside the box. It's hard. It's effort. It's work. First of all, if you don't have the energy for that effort and work, that's okay. Take a fucking step back. Give yourself time to breathe and just exist without being on the hunt for a partner. But also, no, anybody who claims they can is full of fucking shit. I cannot give you a 5-step checklist of how to meet your perfect partner. You got to go in, whether it's online or in person, go be where the people are and see who randomly consensually bumps into you. I know
for me, every time I was trying to meet somebody, I would never meet anybody.
Right.
When I wasn't looking for somebody,
and you know what?
I would run into somebody that
even the relationships that did not work out, it always started for me. I know this is not true for everybody. This will not work for everybody.
Yeah.
I get it. For anybody who wants to complain. When they came at me as a person who was just interested in who I was as a human being, that could start something. Because then I can have a conversation. Part of it I know is my personality. You come at me like, I don't know why you would, but some people only see like this part of the headshot and think the rest follows. It does not. And they're like, ooh, baby, let me, whatever. I don't even know how people talk because I delete those messages. That's so off-putting. We're never going to get anywhere. And so my experience has always been come at one another as just humans that you might be interested in, and you know, check the vibe, see if watch them for a minute. If they seem like an asshole, don't approach them. I don't care how fucking good they look or how great they're supposed to be in the community. If you get an impression of them from just watching that makes you uncomfortable, you do not go there. And it is work and it is effort and to meet people, I mean, and that part sucks, which is why I will always advocate for the friendliness first over the on the prowl for my power exchange mate. It just, I know it works for some people, but I have not seen it work out well for the majority of people.
Right. I got to backtrack to something Silent Winged here said because it had me howling in laughter when I saw it. And this is in reference to you. If we get her drinking in person, she'll be up on the tables ranting through interpretive dance. And yes, I could see that. I could see that.
If we ever all get together, let me just say for the people who will ask for the 10 millionth time, I need these children to be grown, okay? And then I can go places and be away for overnight and not have to ask my mom to babysit and tell her that I'm going to go talk about kink for a living, but whatever. I promise you, make sure the tables are sturdy. Make sure they're made of real wood. Make sure the legs are thick. And then get me some fruity fucking cocktails. I need it to taste like Kool-Aid, but feel like moonshine. And then I'm on the tables. Dancing or cussing, or both. Let's see. I see some things coming up. So hold on.
Yeah, go get that Horizon asked a question.
Oh, okay, there we go. Might not know the answer to this, but I thought I'd ask. I'm a member of a minority community. One issue I have had is being seen as a fetish. Oh, how to stop this? Smarter people than me talk about this.
Yeah.
What is that person's name? Because I don't want to fuck it up. Is it Melina Williams? I think it's Melina Williams.
Okay.
It is Melina Williams. I believe she and other kink educators talk about it. But Melina Williams, if you don't know who she is, you can look her up. I'm sure on FetLife, but just a Google search. Mollena Williams. There are people who are talking about that. Cat Black here on YouTube will definitely have some videos about kink and being fetishized just in general. It is being talked about, and I don't know how you stop it, because part of it is an education thing, an awareness thing, that people need to be made aware that people will absolutely, and I don't blame you for not liking it, don't fetishize me kind of deal. And then there's the squishy argument of people are turned on by what they're turned on by, but I'm always like, yeah, but you can be introspective and question why something turns you on, and then let's like dig into that and like go do some fucking work. We would never be qualified to talk about that. Stopping human behavior, even the distasteful stuff, I don't have any brilliant answers on how you do that. I do think awareness and education by the people who are willing to do that work. I don't think being part of a minority means you should have to educate others. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But the people who are willing to do that, we just need to listen to them more. If anybody in the chat knows of any other creators who talk about this, please share their names so we can all go check them out and learn and whatever. But yeah, I don't have any good answers. But I know there are smart people out there who absolutely talk about it.
And Andre, you know, if you never receive messages like that, you feel lucky. You know, I identify as pansexual and also poly. So that kind of makes me a target.
You are clearly down for anything, anytime, anywhere,
Right.
with anyone. What are boundaries? What are limits? Clearly you have none.
Clearly, I have none because of that. You know, I in my profile, I clearly state ethical non-monogamy. Many people who are into poly hate saying ethical
Right, the ethical should
non-monogamy
be
because
implied.
the ethical should be
Implied.
you know, implied,
Understood, not implied, understood.
Understood. You know, which does make sense. But because I had been inundated with so many things prior to that, you know, yes, I added the ethical back to the non-monogamy.
Yeah, because some people tell you they're non-monogamous, but they're cheaters. They're
yeah.
cheaters and liars.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
You know, I had someone reach out to me. He was looking for someone to do spanking scenes with him. And I was open to it.
You're like, back that ass up. I'm here for
Right.
it. Right.
Happily
I don't know that's
open
what
to
he
it.
actually said, but you know.
And, you know, we were talking. This person actually spoke in sentences.
I mean, that's not a trait you see often.
No.
It should be,
Yeah.
but it's not.
And we were working our way towards actually meeting in person.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told me that his DeMay did not know about this and he would like to keep it on the DL. And I said, no. Sorry, not happening.
No.
So, you know, yeah, it's...
No. Shandy asked, are we allowed to talk about good websites besides FET, or will that get us YouTube porn time? You cannot do a hyperlink, which I don't even know if you can do in the comments anyway.
Yeah.
You could say the name of it, but don't put like the .com or whatever.
Right,
That's
right.
fine.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Please don't put us back in the corner.
Yeah.
I did it to myself last time.
Yep.
I'll not do that.
Kayla does not like corner time, so she would not want to be put in YouTube corner time anymore.
Damn it, Silentwing, you did see me not be able to not spill. Thanks.
I missed it, so thank you for catching that.
Oh yeah. Go get that Horizon. Yeah, I have definitely heard some creepy, icky things about fetishizing trans people. That is just.
Oh yeah.
Well,
you know what? You know what? It's like anything else. There are ones who like it, and ones who don't. Mm-hmm. Just like I follow someone on FET. She is all about the D-pic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? She is happy with it. And others clearly state in their profile,
Don't send me that.
don't send me that. That is
Yeah.
a hard limit. That is a boundary. And what it comes down to is respecting those boundaries.
He's only at 2, y'all, and we're getting JB rants. You gonna drop an F-bomb soon? I'm gonna need another drink before you do that. Aw.
This must be that time. Yeah. You know, and yeah, you know, there are people who clearly state, I enjoy this. And this is what I'm into. You know, and when
What do you mean this? Like
Well,
in
like-
general, anything?
No, I mean like a dick pic or being fetishized or something
Yes,
like that.
there are some people who are like,
You know-
I don't mind if somebody fetishizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a thing they make clear that
they
they
make
want.
clear that
Right,
they
right.
want. And there are people who make clear this is not what I want.
Right. I'm a person.
And people
accept-
go
right,
ahead
right.
and do it anyway.
Sure.
You know, so it's that whole freaking thing about boundaries. And, it makes me mad. Makes me so freaking mad.
Sorry, I've got a teenager texting me. Look, he's on emergency bypass. His phone's on silent, but everything. So he's home from work.
Okay. I thought
And
I heard something in the
he's-
kitchen, yes.
He's taking a shower because he works at a fast food place, and so now he's gross. And he said,
Yeah.
I hope it's not too loud in the bathroom, or about to be. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure we're louder than you are. And then because he is definitely my child, he's like, I feel like there's multiple different ways I can take that. He's correct. So, would you mind because I did silently, even though you were proud of me, I did almost take my eye out. Can I have another one? Oh, this was so good.
I'll go. I probably should stand up. It's been a while since I've.
I know your eyes are not completely open all the way.
No.
And your face is flushed, which with your olive skin tone, you can't always tell. I can tell. And also, I'm hot.
Lola came to visit.
She was worried about you. You were over here ranting.
I know.
Ranting.
She's not used to. Oh, and now she wants belly rubs.
Don't apologize. Go get that Horizon. We do not get enough JB rants. They just throw me off because I'm nice to
Yeah, no. Don't.
I promise you. There are folks here who are like, we did not know we were here for this, but we're definitely here for this. It's fine. Yeah, so I mean, that is the question. Is it the beer or is it the coffee in the beer? What y'all didn't...
Is it both?
It's probably both. What y'all did not see is he almost tripped walking. He teetered a little bit. He was a little unsteady on his feet. I just want to point out that when I went to go get our drinks, I did not do that. I don't know anything about drinks, but I did see on his bottle that this is 11% alcohol. Is that high? Is that low? I don't know. Angry Orchard hard cider. I don't know what's in it. I think it's probably like 2%, but I don't know. Y'all know I don't know. Look, I said it before. I'll say it again. X has offered to make the drinks, and I will let you. Make it taste like Kool-Aid. And I'm there. No, I don't know what mine is.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh, you didn't even get... Oh, it's so cold. You didn't even get one.
No, I'm still working on the one you brought me.
What I find hilarious is that we're doing this, and I don't see us slowing down anytime soon. You're on a roll. But we're supposed to get up tomorrow morning and go for breakfast.
Yes.
I think we're having brunch is what I think is happening. Okay, X, I thought you would be the one to know. Yes, X, Mr. Spock, is 11%. It is 11%.
What? Oh.
Your drink. Where was it? Where?
Yeah.
You can have
I
your
thought
drink.
I did say, yeah.
Oh,
right,
I saw it.
right there. 11 in red. Yeah.
Can you open your eyes up all the way? All the way? Oh, no. That's a scary look. Okay.
I feel it.
I watched you feel it, and I'm here for that as well. At least it's not me this time. Yay!
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I haven't missed any.
But I'm enjoying it. And after this week, yeah, I need it.
Yeah, I was trying to think about this week. Today ended up being a really good day. It was real peaceful. But yesterday, I just had this image of us, but mostly myself, because I'm just thinking about me. I sort of had this image of like road gravel skid marks sliding into Friday, hoping to slide into the end of the week, white knuckling it. Like, that's the image I had in my head. It wasn't the worst week we've had. God knows in the past 365 days, we've had worse. The day you got hit by a literal fucking car. Worse than this week. This week does not compare to any of that.
No.
But it was so chaotic.
Yeah.
And then it was so hot. And then there were people trampling through my attic, and I was trying to work, and it was a lot.
I mean, there was Monday where we traveled down because it was my mom's internment.
Yeah, which that went really well.
That did go very well, thankfully. And then coming back, we had to kind of regroup from that and get back on track, and because that was the day they were coming to start the AC, and then everything just kind of went from there.
Today was a good day, though. I got everything done I wanted to get done.
It was,
and I did not expect that.
I was,
and I got a Brazilian, so I'm very happy.
I was very happy,
and I'm wearing unicorn panties, so I'm very happy
that I was able to reorganize my garage. And get things back into a semblance of order.
Mr. Spock, have you not heard? You write drunk. You edit sober. Have a drink. Write the presentation.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And the youngest and I, we prepped wood for a non-kinky purpose, actually. About 4 cutting boards that I'm working on. So,
and Cheap County, what he's drinking, we got at the grocery store, so hopefully that means it's widely available. I don't know. It's called Positively Beyond Void Shaker Funky Buddha. Barrel-aged coffee stout.
Yeah.
Limited series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it a limited series?
That's what it says at the top.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad I
Had the
got it
experience.
when I did. I like it. Yeah.
You know, I always think I'd like to go to brunch. We went somewhere, and I don't remember where we were, but the sign said bottomless mimosas, $18, and I went...
That was when we were in Jacksonville.
No, like
No?
in the past week and a half, I saw a sign that said
Okay.
bottomless mimosas.
All right.
No, we had bottomless mimosas for whatever amount when we went to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was delightful. But when I saw the sign recently, I was like, I wish we were the people who went to brunch more often. So I could have bottomless mimosas and you could pour me back into the car.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, you know, I feel y'all. I told a freelance writing client on Friday of last week that the final article for the month that I owed him, that I would get it to him this week. And this week was like towards the end of the day on Friday. I was like, did I have the whole week to write it?
This has
Technically.
been one of those
Technically.
weeks where every day the universe has said,
Fuck you.
hold my beer.
It said
We're gonna
fuck
yeah.
you.
It was actually not it was
It was on Amelia Island.
Amelia Island, thank you.
We have a friend
Thank
who
you.
lives on Amelia Island.
Yep.
And it was
And
in like the downtown area.
Downtown area, there was a little
And I
patio.
don't remember the name.
I don't remember the
They
name.
had a mimosa bar, though.
Yes.
do
it
remember
was a
that.
little patio restaurant.
Yes, yeah, no.
And it was amazing. It was a beautiful place. I enjoyed the ambiance of the place. They had it, even though it was close to the downtown area. The landscaping that they had, it was very private, and the company of all the people that were there were amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a great group.
It,
That was a great
it was
visit.
it was a wonderful group, great visit.
And bottomless mimosas. We actually arrived after everybody else had already gotten there and had started the bottomless mimosas. So I think I ended up getting like 2 or 3. It was good though, because they let you put like fruit in it. It was a whole bar thing.
Yeah.
Fruit and then the champagne and then however much orange juice. Again, because I need my drink to be sweet, I did have a higher orange juice ratio to champagne than I think most people would have, but it was fine.
Yeah.
It was bottomless, so I was sort of like, that does that, the patio place, does that sound like where it was? Arcelia's offering the name up. Does that sound familiar? I would know it if I saw it.
If I saw it, I would know it. Yeah.
But maybe. Maybe.
I mean, if I remember correctly, they had some indoor seating, but not much. It was everything.
Mostly outside.
It was mostly outside on
And
a
it was
patio.
really nice because they were like comfy seats and pretty big tables.
Yeah.
And like tons of space to walk into where the mimosa bar area was.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the eggs were really good. I remember.
Yeah, the food was fantastic,
I'm
too.
also, because it's late and I've had whatever this little piddly thing is, I'm also now hungry. I know we're not going anywhere. Thank you. Yes. And then I'll check. I mean, X, if you give me a minute, I can just be one, but okay.
Okay, yeah, send the link because if we see it, we probably recognize it.
Oh God, yeah, I think so. I think so. It was really good,
Yep.
and it was like our introduction. It was the first day we got there. We were there for like a 3-day weekend. I think.
Yes.
And it was the first day we got there, and it was the first thing we did, and we basically ate our way through Amelia Island.
And it was the first time we met the
people that
we met. We had known them online for some time.
Yeah.
And interacted with them online, and it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
I'm telling you, when these children can be left alone overnight by their damn selves, and I don't think they're going to burn the house down or throw a wild party, they might, or like eat us out of house and home, we will start gathering.
Yes.
I don't know where. Is it memo from Kara or Kara? But hi. What's our favorite drunk snack? If I can't go anywhere and I have to stay at home, it's potato chips.
Yeah.
But potato chips are my favorite snack. If we're out and about, we're going to Waffle House.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having some hash browns with cheese on it.
And I know it's not much of considered a snack, but when I'm drinking...
Anything's a snack if you believe.
Pizza.
Yeah, I know. We do have some. When we finish these streams,
I was thinking about that.
It'll be midnight, right? And we need to go our ass to bed. And he goes straight for the fridge and eat. And I love cold pizza, so I'm not knocking it. But he's standing at the kitchen counter eating pizza.
Yep. And I probably will do that tonight.
Well, that's fine, because tomorrow night, while you're out, you've got a party to go to.
I do.
I'll probably be standing at the kitchen counter eating potato chips. I mean, be fine. Oh, great places to stay in Florida. It depends on the experience you want. I do not like the politics of the area, but my favorite beach, and there's not a specific beach, it's like the whole area, is the Emerald Coast of Florida. That is the Destin kind of area in the Panhandle. Is it like super conservative? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah. Are those beaches fucking amazing? Yes, they are. It's sugar sand. You don't have you might want to wear shoes, but you don't need to wear shoes to walk across the sand. It is fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. Amelia Island, which was out by Jacksonville that we were just talking about, their downtown was so cool.
Yes.
What was that thing that we went to? Was it at a bookstore and they had a live music thing that they did? I just remember going to it.
I mean, they had some really interesting things there.
They had a really walkable downtown.
Very walkable downtown, which was nice.
And that's on the East Coast in the northern part of the state.
We had there was a candy shop where they were making
all
taffy,
the good touristy places have a good candy shop.
They were making taffy. They had homemade fudge, which we brought home quite a bit of.
We did
at the time,
because you basically bought it in block.
Yeah.
Down in the Tampa Bay area, where would you recommend?
Tampa Bay.
Not Tampa proper. I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah,
no. There's stuff there if you're like into like concerts and sporting events and stuff, but not to stay.
I would have to say. I mean,
Clearwater?
Probably Clearwater.
The water really is clear. Well, maybe not with pollution.
Staying in the Clearwater, even Palm Harbor area.
Oh, Palm Harbor. It's kind of people with a little bit more money live there, but that means you get like some nicer like boutique-y things.
I mean, it depends what you're looking for. In the Tampa Bay area, and I say Tampa Bay area with air quotes, in the Tarpon Springs area, there is the Sponge Docks, which...
Oh, I love the Sponge Docks. And it's a very strong Greek community there.
Greek community, and the food.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, the food.
So good.
There is a seafood restaurant there at the end of the Sponge Docks called Rusty Bellies.
Yep, they're good.
They are, their seafood is fresh. They even have a seafood market right next to the... It's hard to get into at certain times. If it's beaches you're looking for, Dunedin, Honeymoon Island.
Oh, yeah, that is nice.
Honeymoon Island.
Ybor City, yep, Anissa, that's a good place, too.
As far as going out for drinking and nightlife, Ybor City,
yep.
Yes.
Was it... Yeah, it was Davey who asked about, like, nature and beach. I would say the Apalachicola... Am I saying it right? The Apalachicola area? On the bend,
the bend of the going Florida, into the Panhandle,
because you're beyond Panama City Beach, and that is also a touristy spot. But you're before you get down to like the vertical peninsula part of Florida, and I mean it was devastated in one of the hurricanes a few years ago. So they've had to rebuild. But it's kind of like, it's where some of the best oysters in the state used to come from. Those are yummy. And it's kind of the old Florida vibe. And when I'm from Florida. I've lived here other than the first 2 months of my life when I was technically born in South Carolina. I'm a Florida girl. And I had gotten so used to the tourist beaches, even up in the Panhandle and the Emerald Coast, that there are parts in the Emerald Coast. It's become very touristy, but it's very nice, called 30A. It's a road. And that was where I learned, I think, maybe I was just reminded for the first time that, yes, absolutely, pine trees can be on your beach and like 20 feet away from the Gulf. And it was like as close to sort of the natural beach.
And Dustin brought up St. Augustine.
Oh, I love St. Augustine.
Which is amazing. St. Augustine.
I love it. If you like history,
that is one of the places to be.
I haven't been since I was 15.
I have not been since I was a kid, and I would love to go again myself. Me, personally, and this is a personal thing, for the most part, with the exception of St. Augustine, I do tend to avoid the East Coast of Florida.
I do. For beaches, yeah. I mean, have I been to Daytona Beach? Yeah, I've been. That's how you know you don't want to go anymore. I've only driven to South Florida once with you when my aunt and uncle used to live down there. That was a white knuckle ride down that highway. 11% fucking beer. Yeah, I bet you're hiccuping. And I've only flown over Miami and had a layover in Miami once. I actually have never been to Miami. I know there are people who love it. It strikes me as definitely a nightlife kind of, very social kind, and so many people. I'm sure it's lovely. I don't want to go. It's also like as hot as the fucking sun down there.
Well, when you get down South Florida, yeah. And there again too, Miami, yes, it is a city.
All the tourist spots, all the tourist spots.
Have not been down there since I was a kid. And I know, just like Tampa is a huge metropolis. But I do love where we live now. We have space, it's not overcrowded, so to speak, which we were reminded of when we were back in the Tampa Bay area earlier.
Yeah, it was so fun to see everything that we hadn't seen in 3 years, and then we were reminded, it's really nice to not live here anymore.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
But one of the things being
he lost his train of thought,
being where we are now, we are landlocked. And
there's lots of lakes and springs,
well, there are lakes, but that's not what I was going for. When we lived in Tarpon, we had Gulf breezes.
Oh, there was always a breeze.
There was always a breeze.
It's delightful.
And here, we do not have those breezes.
I think if we were over by the lakes and the springs and stuff, we would get that. But
probably. Being landlocked, there are days we have dead air.
Yeah.
There is just no breeze blowing.
Yeah.
So,
No. There's some, and where we live now, we're specifically like where our house is located is very close to the Ocala National Forest.
Yes.
And y'all, I know it doesn't make sense for me to say, and as I did at the very top of this, that I would put the spiders' heads on pikes to scare away all the other wildlife that wants to come in my house. But if I could be coated in enough bug spray, I would be willing to walk the trails through some of that. There's tons of parks around here with trails, and there's lots of green space. The landlocked stuff, the springs, and the one that the person I saw today who did my wax that I've heard of, the people talk about, Rainbow Springs, apparently really nice. When I was little, I didn't have family here where we live now, but like in the surrounding towns. And so I went to Blue Springs, and I went to this Springs, and I went to, and the springs here in Florida, I mean, I'm sure they're like this in other places, fucking amazing. Like, you're just in like the Florida wilderness, and then there's this super like cold body of water. I'm getting in it, but I'm not getting too far in it because I can't swim.
Yeah.
But I like to be around it. And the good ones are always tucked in the back that only the locals know about. Those are the good ones.
I have tubed Rainbow River.
Have you?
Yes. Yes.
When we were down in Tarpon and Pasco County, the Tampa Bay area, and you were talking about, how you used to kayak and do this, I had this vague moment of, maybe we couldn't completely do that again because I know your back is an issue, but I was like, could we be people who go outside and do things? I was romanticizing it in my head. I mean, I know the moment I get out there and I get a little too hot or something like gets on me, I will want to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes.
Yeah. Go get that horizon? No. Kayla and camping are not two things you want to put together.
I will happily stay in a hotel.
I'm
not even glamping. Give me a hotel with room service.
I used to love camping.
Yeah, you're a camper, not me.
I had camping gear out the yin yang.
Yes, Manatee Springs. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Manatee Springs, another one. Now up here. It's kind of funny because where we live, we are fairly close to a place called Juniper Springs.
Yep. Uh-huh.
I have camped there in years past. There was an area down towards Orlando called Weve Springs, I believe. Weve?
Oh, some of the names we can't pronounce.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I had camped there with the Lakuchi.
Yeah.
Have camped in those areas. Some beautiful camping areas when you hit it the right time of the year. This time of the year, no, you don't want to. This is not it. But, I used to love to camp. Unfortunately, now with my back, it's not really an option anymore. Can't do it.
I'm so sorry you can't go camping anymore.
Oh.
I'm very sad for you.
Marty!
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
It's fine. I've still have 3 more of these. I'm feeling it now, but I'm also tired, so whatever.
Yeah.
Look, and I know that my brain is romanticizing, and it's also looking for new hotness. And I don't I think y'all know what I mean. And so I'm like, well, I could maybe go out into the wilderness near some water or on a trail to walk, but I don't want to sleep out there, and I definitely want to know that there is a vehicle with air conditioning and a restaurant at the end of this, and that this lasts only for a few hours.
One of the things we've kind of talked about and are making a promise to each other. We live so close to the Ocala National Forest, and there are so many trailheads there. Once the weather gets nicer, we intend to get out and walk some of these trails and explore a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when it's cool again. Andre, I actually understand why somebody would make that request, but
yeah,
good on you for saying hell the fuck no.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Yep.
Go get that horizon. I always earn them. I just don't usually admit it. That's how you know I've had a few drinks. I always earn them. There have been 1 or 2 times I can think of. I don't remember the exact situation, but I remember feeling it was profoundly unfair because I did not think that I had earned it. But that's pretty rare. I usually know exactly what I did. Yeah, no. It's weird. I like the peacefulness or the appearance of peace that natural landscapes and green spaces, certainly forests, provide.
Yeah.
But I love the amenities of a fucking city.
See, I have always loved being out in nature, hiking.
I don't want to be out in it.
Where I grew up, upstate New York, we were in the foothills of the Catskill Mountains. We owned 6 acres of land, which was bordered by 75 acres of nothing. And I used to walk the woods. We had a brook that ran through the woods. I used to see deer. I used to see pheasant, quail, all these things walking the woods. I used to pick wild raspberries in the woods.
Oh, wow. I remember picking wild blackberries when I was a kid. Yeah.
You know, and I loved that. Loved it. Even growing up, we were close to one of the legs of the Appalachian Trail. And I spent many times as a young man hiking those portions of the trails and even camping out. And that time I didn't even carry a tent sometimes during the summer. Just carry a sleeping bag and just
Nope.
lay out and sleep under the stars.
No. I can romanticize that, and I can read about that, and I can watch a movie about that and be like, wow, that's amazing. Not built for that.
I know you're not. Yeah,
Just
no,
not.
I know you're not.
You should get you a camping buddy.
Yeah.
You really should. I'll get me a hotel buddy who likes room service and is willing to pay for it. I love the idea of those things, but I know who I am. The moment a pebble is poking me in the wrong spot, the moment a bug is buzzing near my ear, the moment I hear all of the 1 million unfamiliar sounds I would hear out there, I would be on high fucking alert, and I would be miserable. So if it's one of those, we're out in the middle of nowhere, but in the middle of nowhere is a fully functioning cabin with a indoor plumbing, AC, beds off the fucking ground, and there's some bug spray around, I could probably do that. I'm gonna need my creature comforts. It's not. I can't.
I mean, there was a spot.
Oh no, the boys don't want to go camping.
No,
they are also house cats.
They take after her. There was a spot I used to go on the Appalachian Trail. That I used to camp out on. I myself nicknamed it the Lookout. And you get up there. You were on the top of a mountain, and you could see nothing but trees. 360 degrees.
That sounds amazing. It's the top of the mountain part.
And at night, after the sun went down and it got dark, there was absolutely no light pollution.
I miss those days.
You look up at the stars.
Yeah.
And the sky was just brilliant with the stars.
So what I'm learning is the more alcohol you have, the more you wax poetic. That's what we've learned here tonight. Look, you need a camping sub, or hell, a camping top, a camping switch, whatever. You need somebody who will go out there. I need somebody who's like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to sit in this hotel room, wear the fuzzy robe, sit in this big ass bed, and like just let the AC be at 68 degrees because we don't pay for the fucking electric bill. That's what I need. And then somebody's going to be like, you know what? We'll go somewhere, but not too far because we don't want to put real clothes on. Like that's... And then I'll pull up on like my phone or a laptop or a tablet a picture of what the stars look like without light pollution, and I will enjoy them from the artificially cold air as I lay in a king size bed.
Yeah, I you know, it's funny because when I was looking for photos of my mom for her service, I came across so many pictures I took all those years ago of the Appalachian Trail where I used to hike. Beautiful, beautiful
You're
country.
so Timothy right now. You're losing your words in the middle of the words you're already saying. When I was a kid, we lived out in the middle of nowhere, and there was no light pollution. And I remember being a kid, my dad, like at night. He wouldn't wake me up for it, but if it was late enough and the stars were out, he's the one who showed me how to pick out Orion's belt constellation. And I remember then always loving to look up at the stars. I don't have a problem with wanting to look at the stars, but I'm not fucking sleeping on the goddamn ground to be able to do it. It's not happening. I'm gonna need somebody to drive me back to civilization after we have lovingly stared at the stars, so that I can sleep in a bed with central fucking AC. And ordered room service. That's all I'm saying. Yes, Silentling. He does get old man drunk. I don't know what I do, but yes. Yeah, and I don't. The last time I saw you like this was when we got married, and we were drinking all those milkshake-like concoctions that were filled with liquor. It was delightful. But then you had to sober up so we could drive home.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Hey, I guess at least I'm a happy drunk, right?
And actually, no, it is 2. You've only had 2. It's me who's had 3.
Mm-hmm.
But my third one is on the other. I thought you'd had 3. I was like, well. And does that compound? So we had 2 bottles of 11%. So is it really 22%? Probably not. I'm sure that's not how it works, but I can't help but wonder.
You pulled the labels off, so I can't.
Oh God, Aaron, he is not allowed. He is not allowed to become that guy.
No.
Excuse me.
It doesn't say what yours is.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't say. I'm looking at the bottle that I didn't pull.
All it says is drink responsibly.
No, we're not doing that here. Maybe it's on the box?
Probably, yeah.
I don't know. Oh, no, there it is. It's 5% alcohol.
Okay. Anyhow.
I can't answer that, Kitsune. I'm not sure. Take them off? I don't know. When your hot pants catch on fire, take them off?
Sounds like...
Stop, drop, and roll? Look, I was prepared for many years of my childhood for what to do when I caught on fire. And in my experience in the life I've lived, it has never been a reasonable fear that I have faced or a situation. I have never had to stop, drop, and roll. And I promise you right now, if a fire broke out in the next room, it is the only thing I would know to do immediately.
I like that Kitsune.
Oh my God! Okay. Well, yes, Silent, I do think he's had more as well. I would agree with that. I love the idea of looking at, like, one of my favorite things to do when we're driving, and it's a Florida thing, because I'm sure it's around other states, but I only know it in Florida, is when I see giant old oaks covered in Spanish moss.
Yes.
That's Florida to me.
That's
Because that's the Florida I grew up in, and when I see it, I'm like, that's Florida. And when we get to drive through wherever we're driving, I love seeing the pastures with, like, that one giant oak. There's always, like, the pasture, empty pasture, one big-ass oak
You know what
center.
I think of?
Fucking love that.
You know what I think of?
I like looking at nature. I just
you know
don't
what
want
I
it to
think
touch
of
me.
when you say things like that? Macintosh.
Apples? Or
Florida.
Wisconsin? Oh, at Micanopy also.
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
They're like out in the middle of nowhere on a long, lonely highway.
Yeah.
But it's filled with just like trees and Spanish moss.
Yeah.
Like when I think of Florida, I'm not thinking of fucking Disney or Miami or Tampa.
Excuse me.
I'm thinking of big ass oak trees covered in Spanish moss.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's called Spanish moss. I hope that's not inappropriate. I just know it's called Spanish moss.
Pardon me, folks.
You're right, Silent. It did, and also, and I know this is a meme online, but it is true. I really thought I'd face a lot more quicksand, And I felt like I needed to know what to do if I ever got stuck in quicksand, which is you don't struggle because then you just sink faster.
Yep.
Never, to my knowledge, I have never come across quicksand. Just saying.
Yep. Okay.
No, the random strangers do not just, now I know this has happened. I've read some stories and it's kind of creepy, but I also was never approached by anybody with a white van offering me candy or wanting me to pet their puppy or help them find their puppy. I've heard a couple stories every time. I just don't think it was as the fact that our generation, those of us who are like commiserating, so probably young Gen Xers and old millennials, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck were the older generations doing to us? Because the fact that I have anxiety should not be a surprise. I thought I would catch on fire. I thought I would have to deal with quicksand. And I thought I needed to be fearful of every white van I ever saw. And quite frankly, the most white vans I ever saw were once I was an adult, and I would never take candy from a stranger because I wasn't talking to people I didn't know by then. Just saying. Well, Andre, I liked it better when I thought it was 22%, but okay, fine. And Andre, I've been meaning to say something, but I'm afraid I'm terrified I've got the wrong person, but I thought it was you. Did you ask us a couple of lives ago if we had checked our mail because something had been sent that you were aware of? Because I want to say if that is you and I'm thinking of the correct person, we did receive something, and it is delightful.
I did reach out to him
you
today.
You were the polite
finally.
one. You have so much better manners than I do.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't care. It's because I'm thoughtless. I feel awful because I'm Southern and my mama raised me better.
Blue trucks here for Amazon.
They're gray. They're blue-gray.
Oh, blue
with
gray?
blue writing
Yeah.
on the side.
Mm-hmm.
We never get an Amazon truck, though. We get FedEx, we get UPS. The Amazon
Well,
trucks
we don't
are
know that for a fact. We don't
They
know
do
that
come
for a
in
fact.
really fast.
They're
That's
stealthy.
true.
They're
stealthy.
fast and quick. So, yeah.
I know. I feel like I need to blame my anxiety on the adults who are raising me and all the teachers I had. Ours is a Penske truck. Yes, sometimes it does come in a rented Penske truck.
I mean, me, I grew up in a time where you left at dawn and you came home in time for dinner.
Oh, no, I did not live that way. To be fair, I was raised in the middle of the literal woods. There was no going anywhere, but no. Aaron, at this point in my life, I would take fruity alcohol drinks from a stranger in a white van. And quite frankly, I'd be like, oh, is this a kidnapping? I brought my own bondage gear. You could just tie me up. It's fine. I won't resist.
That sounds a lot like CNC.
Take me away from here. Somebody's going to tell me that something else in my house needs to be replaced and want to finance it for the next 10 years so I can afford to pay for it. Look, I didn't go outside. I mean, I went outside. I didn't go outside. I had a street light. We lived in the literal woods, and there was a street light in our yard. There was no street there. It was not a neighborhood, but I had a street light shining into my bedroom window every night. I never understood why we had a street light. There was no street.
I had no fucking internet when I was a kid.
Of course, neither did I. My daddy? No, you're an old man.
We had party.
You're almost a boomer,
phone.
but you're technically a Gen Xer.
I know.
Which is why we can be friends.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we had 3 stations for TV.
Same.
No, I went the fuck outside and found something to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a Disney trip for a graduation present. That's awesome. The 16-year-old had an end-of-year trip with band for high school band, and they went to Universal.
Yeah.
I was jealous.
Yeah, they did.
I love the fact that you, at 60 years older, as a revelation, are letting us know you did not grow up with internet. We would never have known. I bet you didn't have smartphones then either.
What's that?
Wow. See, and I knew, Natalie, I had heard that it was kind of real. Like, it was real for some people, but wow. Yeah.
You know what, Kim? The year I graduated, junior year, we had a computer in our school.
Back in my day.
The first computer we had, all it did was print report cards.
It probably could handle about 5 megabytes. Yeah. Took up half a room. Silent Wing, you hush your mouth. He's a happy drunk. Let's keep him that way. You're giggling.
I am.
I mean, I'm kind of here for it.
I am a lightweight. I don't drink much these days.
Neither of us do.
Neither of us do.
Which means it's kind of fun when we choose to, because it doesn't take much. You're gonna get us drunk with very little effort,
right?
And I think technically both of us are kind of easy, so it's fine. You can kind of take.
I'm easy, but I'm not cheap.
Except I do love a good happy hour drink special, because nobody should have to pay full fucking price or anything. So maybe I am cheap. Is mine.
Anissa, I'm going to date myself. I was the remote control when I was a kid.
At my grandparents' and my great-grandmother's house, I was. At our house, we had, and I still don't know how we got it. I was too young to know. For a brief moment in my living in the middle of the fucking woods life, we had it was old-timey satellite dish.
Yeah.
Like,
the big
satellite dish.
Dishes, yes.
And so if things went fuzzy, my dad would have to go out there and adjust it. And so he'd be like way out there. We lived on a few acres, so way out there. And then somebody would have to stand at the back door, and then somebody, that would be me, would have to stand at the TV. And he would adjust, and he would yell to the person at the back door, better, and they would yell to me, how's it looking? And I'd go, or I'd go, a little bit better, a little bit worse. And then at some point, we never got cable while we lived there. We didn't get cable till I was 15, and we lived in South Mississippi. Anyway, so at some point in the years before we moved to Mississippi, they gave up on the fucking satellite. And we didn't have cable. Nobody was running cables out to the middle. It was the middle of nowhere. And we technically got 3 channels, but only 2 came in clear. ABC came in clear, and PBS came in clear. And for a longer time than I would like to ever admit, and I don't remember if it was NBC or CBS, but the popular sitcoms of the mid-'80s, I would attempt to watch with that fuzzy scroll thing that when a channel didn't come in, and it would the lines, and I could hear it, but I couldn't quite make out the pictures, and I would try to watch and figure out what was going. And my dad was like, what are you doing? I'm watching the Golden Girls, I think. Watched a lot of PBS as a kid.
Yeah.
JB, what flavor vape juice?
I'm with my one favorite, menthol tonight.
Yes, Silent Wing, I agree. I think the reason we get all these nostalgia shows and movie remakes is because Gen Xers are like, do you remember that? Literal hours ago, somebody asked for a pet update, and we kind of gave one because I bitched about Onyx, but we didn't really give a pet update.
No, we didn't.
They're good.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Lola is laying a few feet away from JB and snoring.
Yep.
Onyx, as we said earlier, is complaining loudly. Ella is basically living her best life because she'll be in the 12-year-old's bedroom in his bed chilling. Then she'll go over to the 16-year-old's bedroom and be in his bed chilling. Then she'll go up to the cat tree and be chilling. She's crying out there now. I can hear her.
Yeah, because they haven't got their bedtime treats yet. When we go to bed, I always give the cats some treats. Yeah.
I remember, speaking of the phone, I remember when we got our first cordless, and I could walk away, but you could only walk so far before it got fuzzy. Yes, and I was not allowed to talk on the phone with the cordless in my bedroom. I had to stay where somebody could hear me, and I was like, but I'm talking to my friend, Dad. And then at some point when we moved to South Mississippi, I was 15. It was the 90s version, so it was modern, but it was the princess style phone.
Yes.
The old style. Yeah, I
Yes.
had one. And it had flowers on it. It was so cute. I never got my own number. I did not really need it, but I definitely wanted my own number because all my friends had their own number in their bedroom. Why can't I have that? And what would happen is I'd be talking to my best friend, and when my dad was done with that shit, because I don't know if y'all are surprised by this, but even at the tender age of 15, this voice carried, as did the laughter. And so he would just pick up the phone, and thankfully he respected my privacy enough. He did not listen into my calls. He didn't want to listen to what two teenage girls were talking about. But what he'd do is he'd pick up the phone in another room and slam it down, and that's how I would know it was time to get my ass off the phone. Oh, memories.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's past 12:20.
I know. I was watching it.
Okay.
Yeah, mine had like it was either a gold or a brass detailing, and then the handle and part of the actual base of the phone was cream with these pink flowers, and it didn't have the push button keypad. It had the rotary, but it was the old oh yeah. That was when I technically had a canopy bed with super white furniture that somebody gifted us, gave it to us for free, that I then painted purple because of course I did, and I never used the canopy even though I desperately wanted a canopy bed. Because even at age like 14, 15, I was reading a ton of historical, mostly romance, but historical fiction. And, you know, the ladies of the manor always had the canopy, and then they would have the doolollies hanging down, and they could close the curtains of their bed. And I thought that was so cool. I never got that part. And it was at a time when I could not appreciate that it was, I would guess it was a 4-poster bed, but like tall posters because it was supposed to have the canopy. Like, I could have done some kinky shit with those posts.
Right.
I did have sex in that bed one time, serious doggy style, with a...
Ooh.
I was a teenager. He was a teenage boy who was hung like a fucking horse. I mean, the biggest dick I've ever to this day seen outside of porn. And he's fucking the daylights out of me. He was cheating on my boyfriend of the time, who was his best friend. And I literally had to hold on to the post of this bed because the force of the thrusting with the giant ass dick was more than I could handle on my own. And I needed the bracing support of the bed. And I was terrified that this poster part of my bed was going to snap off. Not gonna lie, you and I have had some amazing sex. We have great sex. We also have old people comfort sex, and I'm fine with that. We have great kink scenes.
Yeah.
I have never, to this day, been dicked down the way I got dicked down by that boy that day. It was, I think, the raw enthusiasm of a young kid. Young. We were both. I was 18. I think we were both 18. He was 17. I was 18. Doesn't matter. I was cheating on my boyfriend, who was his best friend. Yeah. He had more guilty conscience about it than I did. And so we only had sex twice before he found out, I can't do this anymore. He's my best friend. And I was like, yeah, but I don't care. It's really good dick. But that is where I came to love doggy style sex. It's still my favorite position. But I'm much older now, and these knees can't handle it. I'm just saying. And that is how we got booted off of YouTube. And I'm just waving this bottle around like it's empty, and it's not empty. I mean, is doggy style and big dick the kink part? The after dark. What is June 28th? It's a day on the calendar in June.
Yes, it is.
I got that part.
It's an answer to Anissa's question. The next Munch is June 28th.
Oh, for the one that you go to locally.
Yes.
Damn. I hadn't thought about that encounter in many years. I mean, was it the smoothest sexual encounter? No. Was there any, like, care and, like, sweet feelings with their cuddles after? No.
It was just wild, raw, uninhibited.
Uninhibited. There's a word I'm thinking of. Unrefined. Youthful.
Primal.
Kinda. Just raw fucking. And at the time, and I think back to what my memory says, who this person was, at the time I thought that boy was the sexiest boy alive. Why? Because he was like over 6 feet tall and had red ass hair. I don't know what that was supposed to mean.
And Kitsune, I did not miss that joke. It was good. That's what I was laughing at earlier.
I feel like you and Kitsune are kindred spirits.
I believe so.
Yeah. And I wasn't like, that wasn't that's when I was like thin and super fit. No, I was a chunky, chubby girl then too.
Now answer me this. Was that after you started claiming your sexuality?
Oh God, no! I didn't start claiming that till I was 32.
Oh, okay. So that was prior to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened was, because every authority figure in my young impressionable life, up until the time I turned about 18, was like, "Oh my God, if you have sex, you're used good." I didn't have sex until I graduated high school.
Good night, Andre. Glad to have you hanging out with us. We'll catch you later.
And I don't know if the boyfriend ever found out. Actually, I don't know. We broke up bitterly when I went off to college because we were definitely never going to last as long distance. I just didn't care enough. Anyway, and he got clingier as the longer I was at college. So, had sex for the first time. I don't know, lost my virginity. Lost fucking what? Had sex for the first time right after I graduated high school with a guy I had just met. It was at best. It was memorable only because I was super drunk. The summer after high school, before I went to college, it was a wild summer for me. I spent most of it inebriated. I'm not proud of that, but it is what it is. It was in the apartment of a kind of friend who had invited me over, but it was in a bedroom of somebody who did not consent to have their bedroom used for sex.
Oop.
Yep. And something about once I had sex that first time, going against all the shamey things that adults in my life had said about sex up until that point, I was like, I let loose. So I started dating the guy that I ended up cheating on, and we probably were having sex five days a week. Because what was happening is I worked at Waffle House that summer. And I worked third shift. That's the overnight shift. Mm-hmm. And so by the time I was getting off work, my parents were going to work. And they assumed I was sleeping at our house. Or that I was sleeping at my then BFF's house, who also worked third shift with me. What was happening was they were off at work. I went to my boyfriend's house, whose mother did not give a fuck. And I would sleep at his house, and we would fuck and sleep and fuck and sleep and fuck and sleep. And I was working as many hours as they could give me, because it was $2.12 an hour plus shitty tips. So I was like, whatever hours you can give me, I'll take. And so like 5 nights a week, I was at 5 days really, this dude's house, sleeping and fucking. I go home long enough to take a shower. I had extra uniform, so I could just change into a clean uniform and go my ass back to work. And that was my summer. And then I had a crush on his best friend, thought he was just the cutest thing ever, learned he had a dick and knew what to do with it. Twice we fucked, got dick down. Like, I don't use that expression often, but yes. And then he could no longer look me in the eyes because he felt shitty. And that's actually like pretty endearing now. Like, adult me goes, wow, that he was doing better than I was. Cause I was like, it's fine. I can have both of you. It's fine. And I did for a hot minute.
I don't know about y'all. I'm enjoying this story.
And I don't remember when we ended it, but he like stopped even talking to me, which was really sad because we've been really close friends, which was why the sex was so good. And then I kept fucking his friend because we kept dating, and then I went off to college, and of course we stopped, and we were like, I was like a month into my freshman year, but like I lost my damn mind that summer after high school.
Dick
like,
frenzy.
Oh yeah. And no, other than that one guy, well, I'm not gonna lie, the guy I was dating, he was pretty good. He knew what he was doing. The two guys, yeah, that was good. The guy I got with the very first time, not good. The guys I hooked up with in college after I dumped, he and I broke up or whatever. No, like freshman year was the only time I ever got cum in my eyes. And I learned that the thing you never want to have happen is to get cum in your eyes. I was wearing my contacts at the time.
Oh.
So it was even worse. Yeah, I was fucking around with guys that didn't respect me, didn't treat me well. I thought that to have a guy like me meant I was doing something sexual. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I traumatized at least one college roommate. No. I'm not proud of it.
Young and dumb.
Oh, God. So stupid. And just so selfish. Just never thought of other people. Then met the guy that I would marry first. And it was weird because at first it was long distance, so there was nothing. And I was not doing phone sex at the time. No, certainly not with a roommate right there. And then when we got together physically, it was wild times. And then that cooled off very quickly.
Okay.
And I went through this period, I think it was internalized shame, because of all the internalized shame that I'd been taught about what sex meant. And also I think I was grappling with the fact that I'd been having sexual encounters with people that I knew did not respect me, did not care about me, didn't care about my pleasure at all. Like, I was not a factor. I was just a vessel. And I was doing it to be liked. Like, I think there's something that can be hot and sexy and fun when it's a mutual thing of, we don't actually care about one another. We're just here to get our rocks off, and that's fine. This was not that. This was, I desperately wanted these dumbass guys' approval. And I would use sexual favors and the sex that I was willing to have as a way to gain it. But then I would feel guilty and shame over. Like, it was a lot. So the sexual awakening and the kink awakening.
Pardon me, folks.
Okay. I can't think of a term to call you other than tipsy. Anyway, I was trying. You saw that. It was like a glitch in the Matrix. I did not have my sexual awakening until I was 32 and I was finally single.
Okay.
And that's when I learned about what I like and what is important to me and what I need to be satisfied. And that's where kink came in.
Okay. All right.
But not gonna lie, if I could go back to that life and that experience, getting fucked in that 4-poster bed, or getting fucked like that in a similar situation, I mean, I'm here for it. Just saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a lot when I was my younger days of really low self-esteem, not liking a lot about myself. I'm appreciative of my intelligence and what I was capable of doing academically and my work ethic, but my body and my looks and that part of myself where I placed way too much value, very, very shitty self-view. And so if a guy, even the shittiest guy possible, gave me positive attention and all I had to do was blow him or fuck him, okay. It's not
yeah. I mean, for me, it's kind of I had absolutely no other than what I got in school in the 70s,
which would not have been a lot.
Sex education.
Yeah, I had pretty good sex ed, other than the shamey bit.
My parents gave me nothing.
Oh, God, yeah. Mine neither. My mother went, I asked my mom about sex, and my mom went, we don't talk about that. Oh, okay. That's something.
You know, I had no clue. No clue.
We do a disservice
Yeah.
to the next generation. We just don't talk about it.
Absolutely. And, because of that, I have to say, I'm grateful for kink.
Mm-hmm.
Because it taught me so much.
Oh, for sure.
About consent. It taught me about being mindful about my partner's needs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, not just my own. So, I got it.
I get that. I think I must have gone through Florida schools right at the tail end of when they even offered some sex ed. It was imperfect. They separated out, boys from girls, and, so girls got conversations about shaving and periods that the boys never heard. But that was 4th grade, though. 4th grade, we got those conversations. And I sometimes wonder if they sped up when that conversation was going to happen, because I was like the kid going through puberty when nobody else was. But I don't know. But yeah, so we got those conversations, and my mom was not having those conversations with me. And then in 8th grade biology, they did a section on reproductive stuff and sexual reproduction. Then there was a section on sex ed that lasted, it was not just like a single class, it lasted a little bit, and we actually learned some of the parts of the body, blah blah blah. And somewhere along the line in that, there must have been like a special guest or somebody, or maybe it was just a video that was like school board approved. I don't know. But I absolutely remember hearing once you've had sex with somebody, you've had sex with everybody they've ever had sex with, which that's just gross and also wildly inaccurate. I definitely heard once you have sex for the first time, you can never give that special moment to anybody else. And that was always aimed at girls. And then when I had a very brief period of life where I was like, I will try church because I want the approval of another person's parents, which I never got. When they would do like teenage specific stuff, that was super shamey. Like if they talked about sex at all, which only in the very like flowery language where you never actually say the thing. It was definitely a marriage only, directed at girls, was very much you're kind of spoiled if you have sex. Like, it was just, my mom did a lot of things well, but that was not one of them. She, to this day, is not equipped to talk about sex. Like, she kind of knows what we do because of things that went down that we've talked about a million years ago.
Yeah.
But she does not want to think about it. Does not want to think about it, which is fine. I respect that. But I remember every time from the time I was about 8 until I think I stopped asking when I was like 11 or 12, when I would ask questions like, what is sex and what does that mean? Her response was always the same. We do not talk about that. We are not talking about that. It was like, well, fuck, So like, I remember, oh God. And the one time, I don't think it was the first time. It might've been the second or third time, but it was very early days when I was a teenager. I remember we were living in South Mississippi because I had that damn 4-poster bed, and I tried masturbating. And I don't know if I was making too much noise. It's possible. I'm not a quiet person. Or if it was just like my dad making the rounds of the house to make sure everything was...
Yeah.
He heard something, and I'm there like trying to masturbate at age like 15, 16. And the typical his generation, my generation, he did not knock and then open that door. He just opened the door to see, is everything okay? And I'm like, moved my hand. It was all under the covers, like nothing like, open and free or anything. Moved my hand. I went, no, I'm fine. I'm trying to go to sleep. And he's like, okay, well, I don't know what's going on in here. And after that, I did not attempt masturbation until I was 32. Because it was never one thing that happened. It was all of the messages and all of the experiences and all the ways that I either felt about myself or that I perceived sex to be good, bad. Otherwise, like,
Yeah.
All of that. And so I had to go through a divorce. I had to have what I thought was going to be a great sexual encounter with an old flame from high school that went sour, where he did not like having sex with me because I could not orgasm, but he had no interest in like helping me get there either. So
Okay.
I actually thought I would get him back if I could figure out how to orgasm. Why I wanted him back at that point, I don't fucking know. But he was the precipitating factor for me to go, I gotta solve this orgasm problem. And I'd been reading sex blogs at that point. I'd been reading a little bit more erotica, so I was like, okay, this is not as scary to me as it might have once been.
Yeah.
But once I started having orgasms, I kind of went, I don't fucking need him anymore. And he goes to me. I'm like, okay. And so I actually, in a very not explicit way and kind of a softer side of things, he was probably the very first partner
Good night, Kitsune.
I ever had. I would not call it power exchange dynamics, but kind of a version of that, because I remember going to visit him. He had surgery. He lived in my old hometown, the town, I won't say hometown because it was South Mississippi, but where I'd lived in South Mississippi when we moved to South Mississippi. He still lived there. And he had surgery. I went to visit. Like, I had kids were taken care of. I went over to his house, and I actually just sat on the floor because he couldn't get up. Like, he couldn't move too much or it would have hurt where he'd had surgery. I sat on the floor at his feet while he stroked my hair, and I was in bliss. But I didn't even, like, telling you now is when I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's when I started figuring out. And Anissa, it's not prepared. We already have these conversations.
We have been
with our
having the
kids.
conversations since they were young, and they ask questions, talk to them age appropriate.
Yeah, and as they've gotten older, it becomes
and
more
as they've
detailed.
gotten older, yes. So yes, we have had the conversations with the boys.
That goes back to the thing I said at the very beginning about parenting. I made the purposeful decision I would do the opposite of what my parents did, including it's not that we don't talk about sex. We absolutely talk about sex.
Yeah.
Whether they want to or not.
Right. Absolutely do it in an age-appropriate manner with them. And as they have gotten older,
become more detailed.
We even started with them young as far as consent, siblings, oh, stop touching me. Don't hit me. Don't do this.
We don't touch people who don't want to be touched.
We don't touch people. Yeah, exactly.
Started that simple.
We started that long ago when they were young, and have done our best to impart the importance of that.
So it's funny because we do, and because as they've gotten older, we are less secretive about what our work involves. I mean, we don't give them the details of what our work involves.
No.
We don't hide it to the level that we did when they were younger. Our oldest, 16, he is the one who gives. He could be. I can't think of the character's name.
Eric.
Not Eric.
No, not Eric. You're right.
From the show Sex Education.
Sex Ed. Mm-hmm.
On Netflix.
Yes.
He could be that main character whose name is. I could see the guy's face.
I know, and you're right. I
can't think
can't.
of his name. He has told me, he's like, Mom, I've heard some of my friends say the dumbest shit about sex, and I've had to correct them, and I'm like, good for you. I mean, I keep him stashed with condoms. He can buy his own at this point. I'm like, do you need some? Because I'll.
Yeah.
Like, we've just been super open. I think it helps that we are very clear with ourselves about how the lack of information fucked us over.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I remember when they were little, and I was still married to their dad, and there have always been, but there were all the news stories at the time. I can't remember which ones they were, about men who do shitty things, right? And I thought, how the fuck am I going to make sure that you can't guarantee what your kids do when they're adults, but I was like, how the hell do I raise them not to be this way? And that's when I decided that my goal as a parent was to raise them to be good people, whatever that might mean.
I mean, I want them to have the information that I never had as a kid, which,
I also don't want them to be predatory, and I don't.
No.
So
or even carry the shame. I mean,
Right.
I had things that happened to me as a kid. I told you about it. You know that as far as brought shame, and no, I do not want them to have that.
It didn't help us to go through it the way we went through it.
No, not at all.
So
not at all.
once I had that goal in mind,
Yeah.
then I was
Absolutely.
okay, and it's always awkward conversation. It's always weird stuff. It's always the stuff that you're like, I didn't think we would have this conversation today. But now, like, the kids talk to us about all kinds of stuff. And they respect boundaries. They respect consent. And oldest especially, because he's less anxious than his younger brother, they call out bad behavior, and they'll tell people you're wrong for this. And,
Yep.
Too many parents aren't doing it. Too many kids think that porn is what sex is, and
no.
We just it's a very purposeful thing. It's not always easy, but from my point of view, it's always been worth it. And that is my soapbox about parenting. Do you know it's nearly 1:00 in the morning?
I was just going to say, I think we may have even outlasted Silent Winged.
I know. Or she's waiting on a drink. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know. So. Yeah. So I'm proud of who they are. The teaching never stops. At some point, I heard it explained this way, and I've taken it to heart with the oldest. There comes a point where you can't tell them what to do. You can only guide them and give them the benefit of your experience and knowledge, and then you kind of have to watch them do whatever the fuck they're gonna do. I will say all the stages of parenting are hard, all of them.
Yeah.
That one has been the hardest for me. Please give me back. I really don't want this, but compared to not being able to tell a child what to do anymore and have them do it and know that they're going to make their own decisions, because that's the stage of life they're at, and you can watch them barreling towards a fuck up. I will take the cried for 3 hours straight at 2 a.m. when they were a newborn and couldn't be consoled. That was hard. That was a hard time I went through.
I mean,
but I'll take that over this.
It is hard, but you know what? I know through my life I have learned, and I'm grateful for this, because I know there are people who don't. I have learned from my mistakes, and I know it's hard to watch them make mistakes.
But you gotta let them make mistakes.
But you gotta let them do it, because otherwise they cannot grow.
Here's the thing. Just because I think it's gonna be a mistake doesn't always mean it's a mistake either. I get surprised all the time. I'm like, surely this is going to end in disaster, and then it does not, and it works out perfectly fine. Yeah. Which then just reminds me that, that's right, anxiety lies to you. Mr. Spock asked, speaking of anxiety and the younger one, the bucket in the car thing, not even an issue because there's no school. Right. He does see a therapist now. And he's enjoying that. She knows how to work with kids, so there's a connection there, which is really good.
Yeah.
He takes anti-anxiety medication, which did not stop the vomiting during the school year, but man, he's blossomed.
There is a difference, and a difference in such a wonderful way.
It's literally like watching a flower open up. He's definitely still anxious. That hasn't just gone away, but I mean, it's a whole different kid.
Seeing aspects of him that were there younger.
Yeah.
And
they got muted.
And kind of got muted. And now they are coming out. And
oh my God.
It is just marvelous to see and experience.
It's wonderful, but in some ways it's like, oh God, what have we done? Because he is at that age of 12, almost 13. And he definitely thinks we don't know anything.
Yeah.
And that we are most often wrong. And that we don't get him. And we probably don't on certain levels, but it's that attitude of this age. And I'm like, we survived it once. We can survive it again. And it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We won't know if the vomit thing that dragon has been slayed until school starts again. I'm allowing it for this summer because we're trying to help him get to whatever good spot he needs to be in. He's got a lot of therapy lined up over the summer, and I really think it's meant to sort of,
excuse me,
get as much work in as possible before school starts.
Sorry.
It was 2 coffee beers.
I know.
So it's nice to ride in the car and not need a bucket,
folks.
It's really nice to ride in a car and not need a bucket. It's been good for him, certainly. But both boys have their own kind of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the pharmacy a lot more than I ever did.
I know.
Prior to all this, the oldest is officially. It's ADHD. And I had told the doctor, I was like, look, if you're about to tell me the evaluation did not show ADHD, I'm going to need you to tell me what is up with my kid. It was ADHD. Mm-hmm. Primarily. I'm sure there's other things. So we're dealing with that, which is fine. There's nothing to deal with. It's more of a how do we manage it now that we know what it is. Medication is part of that. So, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're just taking life in stride, one day at a time, and doing the best we can at this point. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Shandy, I agree. I mean, there are things about toddlerhood that I don't want to go back to. Oh God, those 2s, 3s.
Yeah.
But now, knowing what I know now that I couldn't have known when they were teeny tiny, just didn't have the perspective. Knowing what I know now, the fears of what could go wrong are much bigger now that we're talking about adults or near adults. It's like, you know. So, yeah. We've talked so much my throat hurts.
I know. I can't believe how much I've talked.
Hell, we even had a rant.
I know.
Yeah, one of the things, I think I vaguely mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I don't know. Time has no meaning because we got put in YouTube corner and life got chaotic. And
I know.
What is a video production schedule? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I had thought about that I'd love to do, because we do these really long rambling streams, both on the Wednesday one and then these once a month. Mm-hmm. But there can be like some interesting moments, and I had thought, instead of like making what to me have started feeling like boring topics on short videos, what if I could pull out highlights of some of these longer rambling streams where we actually talk about something that might be useful to somebody
that's relevant,
and share highlights from streams. The new editing software I use will actually do that very easily.
I know you were very excited about that earlier today when I was sitting at my desk.
Yesterday. That was
yesterday,
and it was actually day before yesterday. Thursday night. We're on Saturday morning now.
What's time? It's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. You know, what can I say?
My favorite is that there, I believe, is still a belief that we're going to wake up for breakfast.
I know.
It's a brunch. We're going to brunch.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be less busy.
Hey, you know what? I get to hang out with y'all and be with my folks, and
I know, and then
I'm good with that.
And then you'll go be with your kink folks tomorrow night.
And tomorrow night.
With my blessing, have a good time.
Yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to that.
I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah.
I will either sit and read my book or I'll scroll aimlessly through Instagram Reels.
And then in about a week's time, Munch will be coming up. And
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I am so grateful for my kink community. Mm-hmm. I really am.
Mm-hmm. We have a good kink community.
Yeah.
In person and
online. But exactly. It means a lot to me. You know, because I mean, you know how much the West Pasco community has meant to me over the years. You know, so yeah, community and people is just something that's important to me. It means a lot.
Are we at the stage of tipsy JB when you become weepy JB, it really doesn't take much. If I play a song with certain lyrics, probably a Rush song, or if I show you a documentary on YouTube, you'll cry. I mean, you'll weep. You'll weep. And while I agree with you completely, and I love the fact that you were this sentimental, 11% times 2, which to me is still 22%. I'm just saying. I feel like we're about to get weepy, JB. No, I have to pee and you're about to make me pee on myself. And no. Anyway, I totally deserve that, but whatever.
We probably should say goodnight.
I was trying to get to the exact 1 a.m., so it was a round number.
Yeah, of course. I figured as much. So.
Look, I think it's first of all, I agree with you. Got a good community.
Yeah.
Even if there's nothing that the community can actually just do, like it's not about that. It's about knowing you have a space and people that you feel connected to.
That understand you, that accept you.
Right.
Yes.
That you can be your whole self with. So you can be a kinkster who also talks about the death of a loved one. Like you can be your whole self. Yeah. And that's a special thing, and not every community offers that, and that's sad. But I'm still going to tease you anytime I think you're about to become weepy.
Of course you are, yeah.
Because that... Oh. And look, Mr. Spock, if it's me pulling the highlights, I'm going to pull the helpful, useful information, because how can I exist on this planet if I'm not helpful and useful to others? I know that's probably... I should not think that way, but I do, so there we are. But if... you know, I would not say no to others editing. I don't know. I don't know, because I wouldn't want my stuff posted anywhere else. I just don't want to go look for the rant unless I think the information's helpful.
Good night, Anissa. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. We've had y'all, and I know because I can see the number of who's still here, and I can see who's commenting. I know a lot of y'all are lurkers, and we're on background noise, and I'm okay with that because that would be me too if I were on. If I was
because
that,
you know what I mean? we even though you lurk, we love our lurkers
because I am a lurker. I am absolutely a lurker, and I am that person who will. After the live or the premiere or whatever is over, and I can see exactly how much time the video is, I will watch the video and I will scroll through live chat every time.
Yeah.
So I'm trying so hard to like get it limping to the 1 a.m. so we can end on a round number.
One more minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. No, I've definitely missed this. I think I certainly needed this.
I needed this tonight. This, we have recorded the 2 episodes the last couple weeks, and I have told Kayla I have missed the interaction of the live stream chat. It means a lot to us to have y'all here. It really does. It really, really does.
And now it's 1 a.m. in our time zone, and it's a round number, and we're gonna go.
Yeah.
For those of you who stuck it out to the end, thank you. If you come later and you manage to get to this point, even though it's not even live anymore, thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.